we're gonna get into this Brittany Simon video. So if y'all didn't know, Brittany Simon also streams on Twitch, so try and follow her. She's fantastic. She talks about things, and again, you're not going to agree with anybody, but like 100% with anybody, because that doesn't make any sense, because we are all our own individual adult people. And so I think that worked. Did it work properly? Yes. So they also stream on Twitch if you don't want to go to YouTube, because I understand why. She does. She's actually quite fantastic. I love her work. All right. Is that on or is that off? And I'm also going to go ahead and start playing a little tainted grail while we do this, but I wanted to bring this up. Now, if I ever get a Zaddy TM, he has to dress like the rent is in 5 seconds, or else what the fuck you spanking me for? I've been watching her more lately. Right. I will say that there are some times where I have a hard time, because she was talking about bodies, and that's like a very difficult thing for me to watch and or listen to. So it's for me, like that particular video just wasn't for me. It's nothing against her. I like the conversation. I like where she took it. I just felt like it's hard for me to have any conversation around bodies, just period. And there's nothing that she could do about that. You know what I mean? So like, that's why I'm just like, there's nothing she could do about it. It's hard to have those conversations for me in general. Okay. For the first time, I might actually put this conversation up on YouTube. Not so that Brittany knows I exist, because it doesn't matter. She's a fantastic creator. But it's just like, so people who don't know that Brittany exists might know. And I have, a very small audience. I can say hello and say hi, whatever. Yeah, and the internet is a very challenging place to have those conversations. It really is, because like so many people don't like nuance. They just want to black and white it. It's just like talking about borders, where people like get very upset about open borders. And I'm just like, actually, borders were created to keep the proletariat in and the wealthy, and for them to just like continue to consolidate wealth. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? Everybody doesn't have to have that opinion. But like, that's what they're for. Because if there weren't borders, then these people would actually have to do things for the people and not for themselves. They couldn't just enrich themselves, because we would leave, and then they would have no population of people to do the work that they need done in their country.
That's my opinion!
Yeah. I'll put this up, and I'll also put up This Week in Hassan. And I think I might actually just start putting this shit on my Audra Streams channel, because I don't know. I know I have a monetized YouTube channel. I just don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it's dead, and I just don't want to fucking deal with it. So that's a reality. Okay, let's go.
All right, so we did that video about Taylor Lorenz yesterday. If you were there, you were there. And something happened that I need to speak out against. A bunch of weirdos came to my comment section. My feeling is Taylor, and she's hated by a multitude of groups. Conservatives hate Taylor. Liberals hate Taylor, and leftists hate Taylor. We don't hate Taylor Lorenz here. We maybe dislike her, disagree with her. We think she was wrong in the way she handled that interaction between her and Maysoon yesterday.
I figured it out.
We talked about it yesterday. But I do not hate Taylor Lorenz. I do not think she's a psycho.
And can I say a thing? Right, of course I can. It's my stream. I can do what I want. Let me just tell you something. My issue with Taylor Lorenz is that a lot of the things she talks about comes from like a very white privilege position. And I don't think she has enough black and brown people having some of these conversations with her. Because like, I love me some Olay, and I feel like, yes, she does make a lot of sense and like all of these things, but I do feel like Taylor comes way too often from like a white feminist perspective, and kind of just doesn't really get like the majority of people. And so like they'll be saying stuff about things and I'm like, yeah, that's because you just don't have enough black and brown people. Ooh, that's where we're trying to go. Ooh, I don't know if I want to do that. Is that what I'm doing? Okay. And I think that's my main criticism with her, is just that a lot of times, is that a lot of times like her critiques and her conversations are very white centered, which, you know, she is white, but I think that sometimes when you're talking about stuff, Even trying to talk about like Section 230 and how they're trying to destroy the internet, you kind of have to also understand that a lot of poorer people who have like, internet access and stuff, but like they don't get this shit and they are looking for anything to help because they are at work all day, right? When you're a parent who does not have a lot of money, you can't necessarily watch everything that your kids are watching. So it's easier in your minds, like, so to like be like, yeah, the government should require age restrictions and everybody should have ID, and then that way my kid can be safe. And the people who are going to be most hit by this are going to be Black and brown people who are thinking to themselves like that would help, right? They don't understand what it does for them as adults. And they just hear like protecting kids. And again, a lot of people who one or both parents work, and I say one because it's a single parent household, they're in a completely different world at that point, because like this is how we got parental guidelines. That's how we got all of that shit, because like parents could not really be there. So you had like a lot of Gen X being raised and millennials being raised in a world where like parents had to work and weren't home, and they couldn't actually like see everything that the kids were doing. So they thought these parental guidelines, which they weren't looking at, were going to help them to make choices on what it was that their kids were like looking at. And it actually did the opposite thing. Like I was even watching Merlin the Hermit last night, and he was talking about how he was playing Fable at an age he probably should have been playing Fable at, but his parents really didn't know. Like, oh my God, it's a fucking storeroom in here, bitch. Luke Goblin. But his parents really just didn't know, and it's very difficult for them to know. Because like, how would they know? How are they gonna know? Especially because like those rankings are changing all the time. Like what is PG versus what is PG-13, all of that. So I was watching Red Shoe Diaries because we had HBO. The rating systems didn't change anything. You know what I mean? Like it didn't suddenly make it unable for me to access. Even sites that say like 21 up, like booze sites and whatnot, it doesn't matter, because in the end, like kids could just put in their date of birth. Like we can do math. Not all of us, but a lot of us can do math. Oh, hello, Filth. Thank you for the follow. Hi, Kenobi. Welcome in. These reactions are the reactions of parents who are scared, right? And I understand being afraid in a world that you can't necessarily control. You don't have the options and the abilities to know what your kids are doing all the time. And you have to know that like your kids may get access to these things not at your house. So the real thing that needs to happen is not necessarily blocking everything from kids. A big part of it is that you as a parent are going to have to start having conversations about reality, what isn't and isn't appropriate for them, and making things like less curious. Like I wasn't, obviously like I'm asexual and I know that now. I didn't know that as a kid, but a big part of like helping me to like not be, interested in sex too early was that my mom wasn't hiding sex from me, right? My mom wasn't like acting as if, me asking questions was like a bad thing. She wasn't calling my vagina a no-no spot. She called it a vagina. She called penises. Like there was literally no time in my growing up where I just didn't know the names of things. It wasn't like when we talked about like, babies and things, it wasn't like, well, when two people love each other, she didn't put it like that. Cause that's, not necessarily true. Like two people, like a lot of times that's not true at all. It's just like two people were fucking and a baby got, there was a baby. They weren't, oh, I can't fucking lockpick it because that guy don't like it. He out here, it's feet out. Feet tag is doing a lot of work today. My parents never talked about sex, so I looked in all the wrong places. Right. Me telling my son real shit at 10 and people question it. Like he has to learn it just explaining it to him so he isn't confused. Right. Yeah, and a huge chunk of support and relief for valid fears is proper information about the subject, issue, etc. Right. Because I was watching Eddie Murphy Raw when I was like, I don't know, 13. However, the second that it got, because I was watching it with my mom and her partner at the time, and the very moment that it got like too big for my britches, she was like, you have to leave the room. Right? Like, so we were watching it together and she was like, oh, this is, because if you've seen the beginning of Eddie Murphy Raw, there's a portion of it that isn't like bad, like for a young person to be watching. But then it gets past that point and you're like, ooh, nope, you can't be, we actually cannot have you watching this. And it's because my mom was like sitting down watching it with me that she could make that determination. Whereas if she just told me like, oh, that's not for you, you're too young, she wouldn't know. And she was able to like know what I could and couldn't watch. So because of that, like I grew up with the ability to like understand how to monitor for myself what I should and shouldn't watch, right? Like I was able to monitor that for myself. Like there was shit where I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna watch that. Like I'm not supposed to. Like Dangerous Minds. Like Dangerous Minds. Listen.
Oh, I know some people called her names in my chat and I said, don't use ableist language. Don't use misogynistic language, guys. Okay. But I wanted to point this out because it says more about you that you've never watched me, never subscribed to me, never commented on my channel. And the moment you saw Taylor Lorenz, you were like, perfect. I love shitting on Taylor Lorenz.
Right.
Like, damn, is Taylor that bad? Damn, bro, that she has a whole hate committee that waits for me to post about her so they can hate on her. Now, with that said, this video isn't in defense of Taylor, but I do want to point out that hating Taylor doesn't mean you're morally correct. Disliking her might, though.
Right.
Okay? I chose to unsubscribe from Taylor. I'm still open to, and this is my, I don't know if this is wise, but because I don't know if it's worth it, but I would be willing to maybe collab with Taylor one time to talk about these things to see if we can find a consensus. But otherwise, we don't need to continue supporting her necessarily. So I'm not going to, because I don't think she's ready. We're going to talk about why. But I'd hate to say that because I believe in change and restorative justice and all these really great things that Taylor can't change, is to say that until she has, we don't need to support her. But support looks like different things to different people. Okay.
Right.
So, you know, a lot of people had reasonable takes like, hey, not gonna lie, this take made me take the biggest step back from her. And I didn't see a lot of the discussion about it. So I'm happy to have stumbled upon this. Thank you. So people who don't know my content, but there it is, right? This one was like, or she's been the same exact person. She was aiming her BS as the right targets, like, but was aiming her BS at the right targets. Like, I think earlier this comment said fellow enemies or enemies, but I think there's something to be said about like, there are pro Ethan Klein, anti Taylor Lorenz people, and I did block them from my chat because they were like, oh, Taylor also went after Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein, the guy who said Hassan will never fuck you to Taylor Lorenz, which is disgusting and misogynistic. Ethan Klein, who's targeted women on the internet to go, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't come into my chat defending Ethan Klein to talk shit on Taylor Lorenz. Like, that's not gonna happen, right? Okay. And then some people had some like pretty interesting takes, like don't forget Taylor was the one who went to the White House dinner, which is interesting. She did go to that White House dinner with,
like, I've had a lot, like I think she's done a lot of good work on Section 230. I'm not gonna lie, but again, I do feel like I do have a feeling about her where I'm just like, I don't feel like, I just feel like you come at this from very white centered spaces and you just don't know. Because especially when they talk about feminism and whatnot, I feel like they just don't understand Black and brown women, and they like, because it's her and what's her face, and I can't remember her name right now, but they do a lot of collabs together. So I feel like she has this way of talking about stuff a lot, and I'll be able to see y'all's comments in a second. I can't make words. I just can't see them right quick because I'm setting up this little timer so that y'all can link to the video, because I do like to make sure that people are getting credit for the work that they do. There we go. All right. There we go. Kat Tenbarge, yes. And I really liked Kat Tenbarge's work. But again, I do often feel in my heart that a lot of the conversations they have are very, very white centered. And I personally feel like, and again, this is just my opinion, I personally feel like a lot of these conversations would do well with like women and non-binary folks from different races instead of just like two white women talking about this, because it feels very, very white and it doesn't apply to me. Yeah, her journalistic works are awesome and very good, but she pushes too far online fighting people when it isn't even necessary. Right. Yeah, do you remember when Congress tried to pass that Restrict Act 3 years ago under Biden? That was crazy. Like, I just feel like they just don't. Yeah, she did good work on COVID and disabilities. Whispers, I find it wild people sympathize with EK still. Listen. Also, congrats to Denims again. Denim saved the internet. Just a quick side note, like if you don't know, Denim saved the internet, saved content creation. And I'm not kidding. I'm not, you know, just making that big. She saved content creation by fighting that fight with Ethan Klein, whose case still was the basis for her winning. And of course he's trying to appeal it, but it's stupid for him to do so, because he will fuck up the internet. It's like, it keeps going like this. It's like, you're going to fuck up the internet. You're going to fuck up content creation. Like, I would not be able to do this very thing that I'm doing right now. So thank you, Denims. Thank you, India. Thank you. Okay, I'm done.
Biden. Some people didn't like that. Okay, fine. And then let me pull up this comment here so you guys can see it. Turb mentioned, love Turb. Though there were some Turb criticisms in the chat. Okay, so this one is an example. Says Taylor is one of those people who currently using Gaza and Palestine to attack the DNC at every opportunity given. People like her are the real performative bastards that only are using human rights violations as a means to push their agendas. And I said, well, hold on. I mean, the DNC earned the heat. They aren't doing enough. Taylor isn't wrong about everything she does. There are things she does that are good. I had to block an H3 fan earlier who was trying to join on the Taylor dislike. Absolutely not. I'm concerned that libs are coming in to hate on Taylor. I don't hate her. I want her to do better. We should all work to be less bad. Because, like, what do you mean Taylor's going after the DNC? You mean the same DNC that like supported Israel and didn't call it a genocide and didn't do what they were supposed to do as our leaders? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It doesn't make sense to me personally. And then this person said, I'm somewhat followed her for a while, mostly because she does go on Matt Bernstein's podcast a lot. But this really threw me when she released a video about AI and was very lenient in it and kind of advocating for girl boss AI usage. See, that's interesting to me. I don't watch enough of Taylor to know everything she does.
Right.
But I do think that's sort of interesting if Taylor is falling into that girl boss AI trope. I think that's not very leftist of her, and that's confusing. So then this person said, at the risk of sounding insensitive, if Taylor is severely
like the girl boss AI shit, the black people doing it, like, oh, there's Aisha, you know, black owned AI. I need y'all to stop. Like, I think we were talking about this in Burb's chat, Doodleburb, shout out Doodleburb. I fucking hate it. I hate it. Please stop doing that. You're really like, y'all, come on, please use some common sense. We also don't need black owned everything. That's wild. Stop it. And let's be so fucking for real that, like, I likened it to selling rock in the late 80s and 90s, right? You were getting rich, you were making money in a system that was trying to keep black and brown people from being able to benefit from anything that the government did, loans, any of that, to like start a small business, all of that. However, you were quite literally poisoning your own community. And that's what I said in Doodleburb's chat. I was just like, you're literally poisoning your own community, and that's horrendous. Like, you can't feel good about what you're doing. You can't feel like what you're doing is right and just. And the same thing applies to me with AI. Like, they are deliberately destroying black and brown communities and poor white communities. This is going to be a crisis. It's causing health issues. You know, not just the water, but like actual physical health. It's going to cause a problem with that. Yeah, exactly, Void. Can't undo poison with more poison. And so, like, Yeah, they gonna use it and teach their kids to use it, so we need to learn too, otherwise we're gonna get left behind it. Like, that seems to be like the argument a lot. It's like, I'm not saying you don't know AI. I think one of the best things we can do with AI, in my opinion, and very specifically Gen AI, is understand when it's being used, being able to spot it, right? Because like there was a coloring app that's a game. And, you know, I love my little mobile games. You can't make me hate them. I like to play them. It's a nice little time. I play the fuck out of Meowdoku, okay? Because I don't like numbers, but I do like little cats going meow when I hit the box, right? You know what I mean? Not like that. Pause. But so all of that to say, like, it's wild as fuck to me that people don't understand that, like, that's what we need to know, but we don't need to be like using AI. Like, AI does not need to be girl bossed. There's no reason for us to be using AI, period. Gen AI, it's destroying communities. We will have no potable water. Like, we are made up of a fuck ton of water. I don't know the percentage. I know it's high, and I feel confident that this is the 90s. I just don't remember that much from anatomy because that's not like my special interest. But I need people to truly understand that, like, that, oh, God dang, these wolves and these motherfucking druids, get off my dick. Oh, hold up now. So
I am really good at bed.
I need people to like understand that. Hi, Hermie. We should be able to like point out what AI is and how it works. I feel like that's a normal thing for us to need to like do. But otherwise, you know, leave me alone. Okay? Just leave me the fuck alone.
Compromised as she is, how is she moving about the world prior to
Right.
COVID?
Why does it need clean water?
She got sick. She got sick from COVID, from my understanding. She still isn't housebound. She masks up, which is good. We should consider masking when possible. And then this is the kind of discourse that I think right here, it's like, hey, I don't want to sound insensitive. It is questioning diagnoses, which I do think we tend to do when we're doubting people's authenticity, but I would recommend we hesitate to do this. I think it's good that they said, at the risk of sounding insensitive, but I think the problem is like, someone who doesn't know Taylor's history is going to read that and go, yeah, Taylor must be lying about her disability, which does play into ableism and does play into this idea that like,
it does,
disability is like faked by people. I've been accused of faking my disabilities, and it's a really weird thing to be
it's very
accused of, I
strange.
think. You know what I mean? It's really strange. Chat said, "Ways there's something wrong with Matt Bernstein." No, this person is saying they like Matt, I think, and that sorry, I read chat. They like Matt, and her going on Matt gave her some credibility, because they use Matt as like a litmus test, but I don't think you should, to be honest. Like, I don't watch Matt like that. I never really got into his content. But
Right, me neither.
Think he's not exactly the arbiter of all things ethical.
Like, no hate to him, but like, again, I do get extremely frustrated with white gays and how much space they take up. I'll leave it there. They take up all the space and leave no space for anyone else. Oh God, I'm getting fucked up by a bear.
Ashley St. Clair. So I don't know why we're sitting here thinking his judgment is good, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. If that was at a different time, or I think we're forgetting that a lot of this. Okay, so here's what I want to talk about. This is what the question to me was about. We're going to talk about this. You have to make the decision. I want to give the power back to you. You have to make the decision about what is ethical, what is good, what is reasonable, what is kind. You have to make the decision on who you support and who you give an audience to. The same way the billionaires like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos had good branding. Jeff Bezos only drove his car for so many years, and then he didn't even bother paying himself for 10 years.
Right.
Elon Musk, he is doing environmental work. He is making eco-friendly cars. These are all branding and marketing tactics used by people to get you on board. And I'm saying nobody is exempt from this, even me. I am branding to you. I am marketing towards you. I am sitting in a room and saying, how do I get the audience I want? Queer, femme, progressive, leftist.
Right.
Like, I'm sitting in a room every day. Like, how do I encourage like people to come into my audience who are like gender deconstructing, interested in veganism, interested in like valuing life, and like interested in like harm reduction.
And I do think a lot of us do that. Like I for sure do it because like I want a community of, you know, like-minded people, queer, neurodiverse, like all of that, because I want us to have a spot where we feel safe and comfortable, where we can feel comfortable asking questions. Oh, Jesus. Because like that shit's very important to us. You know what I mean? Like you can't, I didn't know it did all that now. But like, I don't ever want queer folks to feel like there's not space for them because, and very specifically black and brown queer folks, because again, like that's what I'm saying about Matt is like, yeah, takes up all the space. Meanwhile, you know, who do we have that is at that level? Ooh, congrats. Congrats on your stream streak. But who do we have in black and brown spaces at that level? Who, you know, get to collab with large creators and all of this kind of stuff. 9 times out of 10, it's not us who get in those spaces. And I find it extremely frustrating because like you're talking about things that directly impact us and they're talking again for us and over us. And I will always say that like it genuinely irritates me. Because why are you speaking for me? Like why? You know what I mean? Like why did y'all just not know any black people that exist or what's up? Because like that becomes like a problem for me. If you're constantly talking about trans issues, talking about queer issues, and you're only talking to white gay men, I have a lot of problems with that. Like a fuck ton of problems with that. And I feel like you're not doing your due diligence to hear from the entirety of the community because white gay men still have whiteness. So I hate it. Yeah, I'd love for white women and white queer peeps to be as critical of their own spaces, leadership panels, etc., as they are of majority white men spaces. That part. Donzi Bonzi, as a white gay, agree. Thank you. I like that Matt has had Cat on a couple of times, but I agree. Right, and I feel like if you're having these Ghost, thank you for gifting Tony. Thank you. And will often point to BIPOC as most impacted, but don't consider passing the proverbial mic instead of giving us a passing mention to signal their awareness. Right. And I've been saying this for a long time. This isn't like new shit for me. This isn't like, oh, I just started saying this. It's literally like I've been saying this where I'm just like, it's very interesting to me that there's always like so many white people discussing black and brown people and our plights, but like, where are the black and brown people talking about it? Can you not get in touch with them? I'm literally just asking, like, can you not get in touch with these folks? Can you not have conversations with them? Is that like hard? Like what's happening that you can't have these conversations and that you can't literally have them on? And also not to just discuss like things that are negatively impacting us. Like if you have a black person on right now just to discuss like what's happening with Haitian immigrants here in the US, cool, but also can we also discuss like fun things and how that impacts us, right? Like if you want to start talking about the billionaire class and how like we talk about, you know, billionaires are bad, even Taylor Swift, you need to have black people on being like, yes, and Beyonce. And be able to talk about it from a person of color and why you have so many black people who literally ignore the shit that Beyonce and Jay-Z do because they're buying into black capitalism, and how many of us keep trying to say like black capitalism will not fucking save us and you need to let go of this shit. Like we can't be like capitalism is terrible except for when black people do it, right? Like we are agreed. I'm really pretty, right? Like, so we can't have that happen. And you need to have, and I mean that, you need to have black people who are there to say it, because first of all, black people aren't going to hear shit coming from a white person talking about like, oh, black people are doing this too. Because they're just going to be like, why are you talking to me about this, sis? Like that's, you know, y'all have your tailors and all of this shit. Y'all be making the money. Just because they give black people a seat at the table, you're forgetting what the black people had to give up to be at that table. And I think way too many people forget that shit every single time. You kind of forget all the things that Black people do have to give up to be at that table. You forget the things that Latinos have to do to be at that table. Like, they're not at that table by accident. They don't get to sit there. They don't get to show up at White House dinners and all of that by accident. They had to give up a lot to be there. And they chose to give that up. So don't trip for a second. Don't act like, oh, well, no, they chose to give it up. They made a conscious choice that they would rather be a billionaire. Fuck you, horse. You're just so bad at horsing. But they made that choice. Oh, come on. Horse better and harder. Just be a better horse. But they made those choices to give up being part of the community. They opted. They said, yeah, I'd rather, give up caring about my community in order to sit at a billionaire table. So, like, just please don't forget that shit. The horse is having an existential crisis. A horse too, horsing harder. And a lot of those people open doors and slam them closed behind him. Elia, that part. And that's like, and you see this happen on this platform all the time, right? Because they're like legitimately Black creators that I've seen do that. And I'm like, oh. That's why a lot of times I will say that Jackie Aina and Paige Christie are two sides of the same coin.
And like,
I will not be explaining further.
I'm thinking about that. And then the question is like, what does Taylor want from you? What do any of these creators want from you? What does Hassan want from you? What does Matt want? And then of course we know the right what they want for you, right? They want you to be a traditionalist. They want you to fund their wars. They want you to do all these other things, okay? So you have the right, you have the power to discern
out of here. It's getting
which
dark.
creator you support, which creator you make filthy fucking rich.
Period.
You are the only reason any of these people will ever be rich. You. So remember this. Every time you see these creators who are so successful, they are wealthy because of you. These billionaires, it's because of you. You have so much power to put your money behind somebody you really believe in, right? Okay. This person said, and thank you for the comment, I find this confusing as I do many of your videos on other content creators. To make this clear, I'm going through a philosophical journey around morals and ethics and trying to come up with my own clear values system and how I label people good or bad in a way that gives people grace and understanding for people of different values. P.S. guys, please, this is great. See how there's paragraph indentations? That's good. You could add another one, honestly, but there is a paragraph indentation, which I appreciate. Okay. So, that's great. I love that. Same. They said, I do this to help me have the discernment around who I should trust and listen to and respect and who I want to avoid and condemn. Amid-based. I understand Taylor's reaction to a lack of masks to be disproportionate and her use of dying Palestinians to someone who is directly affected by the genocide to be disrespectful. I understand you have a couple of other issues with her, and I'm sorry, but I find issue with the way she talked about the whole rape site, but I really believe that clarifying the truth and being accurate or as much as possible will always be more good for the cause than allowing sensational information to spread and have bad faith. People jump on it before the people who really care can make a cause clear. I think that's the 65 million website, and I think they're just disagreeing. I don't know what they're disagreeing about exactly, but okay, they're agreeing with Taylor, I guess. The Destiny thing I have no real grace for, as she should have known better who she works with. So she collabed with Destiny after his allegation while he was facing a felony, which was crazy.
Oh,
they go on to say,
wait a minute.
Saying,
No. Time and a half. Whichever means less sweating. I am very no, Taylor, Jesus fucking Christ. You cannot talk about listen, and I mean this wholeheartedly. You can't talk about feminism and women's rights and all of these things and collab with fucking Destiny, bro. You just can't do that. And I refuse to accept that. I refuse. I rebuke that. That's not, girl. Please. Yeah. Huh? Right, listen, the whole chat, we're all finding out together. Because again, I run into Taylor in different communities, if I will say. A lot of times I run into her via Black and brown creators, right? And this leads to another the issue that, you know, I may or may not get into more detail on at some point, but it does, or I'll just talk about it now. Fuck it. I do get the sensation. Oh, not y'all motherfuckers trying to come up on me like that. Not today. I do like, this is the thing where I feel like black and brown people make their spaces accessible and white people don't. That's all. That's like what I feel like. Like, we make spaces accessible. We, you know, will give you like a platform to stand on, even if you have a good platform, but we make a lot of space for you to do even more. Don't start fighting me, fuckers. ADHD news for the win. And then they get people from our audiences, and then they just like continue to do like fuck shit. I hate that. I hate that so much. If anybody has the ability to do so, can someone help Tiny get out of ad jail? Thank you.
Flawed, but also 3 strikes, you're out. I understand unsubbing isn't the same thing as kicking someone you know personally out of your life, so it's normal to give strangers on the internet less grace you would a person you know, but at the same time, I can't help but feel as though 3 strikes, you're out is to be unreasonable and lack nuance. I said that yesterday on stream. I said I give 3 strikes, you're out, which, by the way, is only assuming your first and second strike aren't absolutely egregious. Otherwise, 1 strike, you're out. To be clear, when I say 3 strikes, you're out, I'm saying I, Brittany, will no longer allow you in my space to do harm and or use my spoons on you, and or it could mean a lot of things for different people.
Right.
Okay? So it just depends on what I mean and what you mean by 3 strikes out. But 3 strikes out to me just means like, okay, I'm no longer spinning spoons on this. I love you, figure it out, go to somebody else. So I'm not saying Taylor can't build community with somebody else. I'm not saying that I would never talk to her. I'm saying I, as a viewer, she's not entitled to my view, and she's not entitled to me praising her or recommending her. She's not entitled to me saying, oh, Taylor's great, you should watch her. Like, I'm not going to do that. So any grace I had for Taylor to recommend her, to promote her, to see her as like somebody I like is done.
Right.
It's over. Now I'm happy to collab with her professionally because we're both on the left and we can do something about this. Maybe we can have discourse. You know, she's not that evil. And I still want to say that I better see an apology to this Palestinian activist Maysoon, and I better see some ownership of the way you've existed in this space in an unethical way. You know what I mean? I mean, she just did a collaboration with Hassan. She's always doing collaborations with other YouTubers. It's not like other YouTubers are going to have that standard anyways because they're all building platforms together. I'm at least having I have a smaller platform, but the standard I'm trying to set here is that we expect people in positions of privilege and power and who have options to do better because they literally have the resources. You know how we talked about earlier on stream, the privilege of doing better, the privilege of knowing better. To some extent, out of all the people in the world who should know better, and maybe should be Taylor Lorenz, you know, given her position. But that's up for debate as well. And even this person brought up my family structure. I love my brothers, but I also do 3 strikes, you're out for my brothers. It doesn't mean that I won't talk to them later. It means that while they're in this spiral they're in, and while they're acting unethically, I'm not having anything to do with you until you figure it out. Otherwise, don't call me, don't text me. You know, only call me and text.
Right. This is what we're constantly like having conversations about. Like, if you're still friends with Trump people or any of that shit, like I genuinely don't know what to do for you at that point. Because like at this point, you're like actively engaging in self-harm. I understand that you have family. I understand all of that. But I'm going to say, like, these people are actively harming you. And they don't care that they're doing it. And the thing is, like we've said multiple times before, MAGA people don't have any boundaries. Like, you'll be like, listen, we can try to be family, but like, let's just not talk about this shit. Like, I'm still going to show up for, you know, the holidays or whatever, but let's just not. But they can't do that. They have to constantly send you memes, weird AI shit. And like, at some point you're just like, you know what? Never mind. I can't deal with you. Also, people have been trying to get Taylor to reflect on the weaker parts of her politics. No, they have been. But I feel like, this is my opinion, does not have to be yours. I feel like she does the very white woman thing of saying they are attacking me because of misogyny and because I am a woman, right? And she is right to a small degree, but it because she's allowed to do that, she doesn't have to reflect. It reminds me a lot of what is her name? Jacqueline in Makeup World. Why can't I remember her name? Like, what? Anyways. So Makeup Jacqueline, who lies all the time, Jacqueline Hill, that's such an easy last name. One of the things I regularly said was, please stop talking about her weight. Not even just because it's none of our fucking business, but because what it does is it allows her to focus on people being mean and bullying her for what they perceive as her being overweight or gaining weight, and does not force her to address the actual situation. This is the problem that I think especially a lot of white women fall into. White women on the platform do this a lot. They are able to deflect criticism because they are very easily allowed to go, these people are attacking me as a woman. And because that is what they are saying, a lot of people don't even end up knowing what the issue was. They just know that misogyny is happening, and it's happening to a white woman. So they immediately jump to her defense without really knowing what the fuck has happened. That does not work for women of color at all. Like white women of color, not white women of color, but that does not work for women of color at all. Women of color do not have that ability at all, period, ever. Women of color have literally never been able to use, they're being misogynist, because they don't have white privilege. But white women can. And I feel like that is a bit of her problem. Yeah, that's true, but that's why I fuck with Turb. That's why I call her cracker points. Wait, are you talking about contra points? You call her cracker points? Jeebus. So that's like my opinion.
Ask me when you want to work on it. Okay? Otherwise, no playing nice with you. You can't come. You can't hang out at the party. Okay, that's what I mean by that. We'll get into it in a second because she's going to bring up the bus analogy I gave, okay? She said, or they said, I don't know their gender. They said? He said? I don't know their gender. Okay, like the mask thing, I don't see Taylor as the worst person after this. It was insensitive and seemingly from a place feeling like her life is being devalued from a lack of masking. I can be understanding and give her grace because of that. And she is just being very morally consistent with her belief around masking in a way I don't see from you. And yet you jump on the bandwagon of masking just because you saw people online tell you should, and then look towards your audience to tell you what to do with no sign that you were doing your own research and making up your mind yourself on this is the most ethical thing to do. That gives me a reaction that I can trust you less, as it makes me worry how easily you are pushed into perspective of the internet. I started watching you because of how you talked about morality and values. I guess I am confused on what you really believe. Like this, we all make mistakes and everyone causes harm in some way, but I'm going to stop listening to someone whom seems to line up close enough to your worldview and share similar ideas to you because of 3 things they did. I don't understand. I don't get your line for what's acceptable or forgivable. I find similar ways of you talking about Hassan. I don't like him, to be clear, and it's largely because of his misogyny, objectification of his fans. I think the nudes thing is dangerous, as well as his general dismissive and mean attitude towards minorities in his chat. However, when you first started saying he isn't doing enough and you would do so much better in his position, I never said that. Whoa, I never said that. Yo. I only said if I was in that position, I would make sure I was doing better. It would be my life's mission. To be clear, I never said I would do better in Hassan's position. If I thought I would have done it. I do not think I would do better in Hassan's position, but if I was put in that position, I would do better. Do we know the difference? If I thought I could do better, I would do it, but I'm not in that position. You didn't make me famous. Would you like to make me famous and then see how I do it? See, the issue with this thinking is that I am held to a higher standard than Hassan, because that's what you're doing. You're saying Brittany with little viewers and no audience is held to a higher standard than Hassan, who has all the resources to do better. You admitted I'm doing better than Hassan.
And this is the problem. And if y'all didn't know, she said it in a comment. She is not a white woman. Like, in case you didn't know, Brittany is not a white woman. In case you didn't know, like she is pale in complexion, but she is a woman of color, if that makes sense. This has been the problem. This has been the problem for a very long time. Anytime there's people of color in any space, the expectations for us are perfection. Like, that's it. The expectation is you better be fucking perfect. And if we're not perfect, then like, if we're not perfect, then we end up in situations where we lose our platform, where nobody wants to watch us, where we get called names, and we're just like, literally, we're not allowed to have any mistakes. We're not allowed to make one mistake. Meanwhile, white creators can very easily have had an N-word past. You know what I mean? Or they're like, oh, I was just being edgy back then. And I'm like, excuse me? The fuck do you mean? And they don't really apologize most of the time. Most of the time, they quite literally do not apologize. And they're just like, anyways, that was my past. Y'all need to get the fuck over it because I've moved on from that. I'm a better person now. And I'm like, says who? Who said you're a better person now? Who said that? And why? What's happening? Why are we playing these games? Like, y'all get on my nerves and I'm tired. I'm tired of like having to pretend like I have to be a paragon of perfection, but y'all are allowed to have whole ass racist past where you called black people the N-word, where you were rude and nasty to black and brown people, where you said something gross about how you would never date a black woman because of their shitty fucking attitude. Like, and I'm expected to just accept you willingly. Like, oh, they've changed. No. Right. Even if you don't do shit, just a melanated face alone gets you called, an ape. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Right. Like, I don't know if y'all know this, but Foreign did a collab with I can't remember the name of the creator. It's like RLL, but with RLL on YouTube. And the comments are fucking disgusting. Like, they are nasty. And it's just like the way that some of y'all just like absolutely cannot wait to be racist needs to be studied. Absolutely cannot wait to be as racist and nasty and mean to people as you can possibly be. So here's the thing about me with Sarah's TV. I don't know a lot about Sarah's TV, to be so fucking for real. Like, I really don't, because I feel like I watched like one or two videos of theirs, but I've seen some stuff where I'm like, I don't think I should fuck with that. And that's just me. You know what I mean? Y'all can do whatever you want. Because I don't try to police whom everybody watches. Do you know? Because I think that that's weird. With the exception of a few people. With a few people, there's a few people where I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, if you're still watching Ethan Klein, if you're still watching, like Jeffree Star, if you're still watching James Charles, I'm just like, ooh, I don't know how I can reconcile these things. Apparently Sarah's TV has like a lot of weird reactionary stuff, although they did have a video that I enjoyed about Lizzo. So there was that. But otherwise I was just like, yeah, it's okay. We don't all have to we don't all have to like this shit.
Hassan, generally, maybe I'm not misogynistic. I'm not asking my fans for nudes. I'm not doing those things, right? Then why in the world would I be held to a higher standard when I don't even have the resources? I don't make no $2 million a year. Right? That doesn't make any sense. And also when she said, or they said, or he said, when you ask your audience for advice, okay, I'm a white woman, yeah? Would it be smart if I asked my black community information about the black community I might be ignorant to? Or no, should I be like, be quiet, black? No, don't clip me. Be quiet, POC. I know what to do.
Right.
Like Hassan does.
Like, yes. Although I will keep saying, like, I knew looking at her in her hair, I was just like, where you from, girl? Because here's the thing, it's the same reason that I have this conversation about going outside, right? Going outside and doing things outside and doing things in community, et cetera, et cetera. The reason I have this fucking conversation repeatedly is because this is not my real job. That's why my go live notification is, this is not my real job. This is on purpose, because like I have a fucking job that I have to go to 5 days a week. One of those days is Saturday. I need people to understand that I don't have any energy left in me to go outside. I don't have any organizing energy. I'm fucking tired. It's hot as fuck right now. I'm outside in 100-degree weather. I'm not sorry. I'm not doing anything. I cannot do that. I can talk. I can provide resources. I can donate. That's what I have the energy for. And I'm not going to be made to feel small or irrelevant or like I don't do enough because I'm not outside. I'm sorry. It's fucking hot as shit. I'm outside I stand up most of the day. When I walk into the office from at least 7:30, like tomorrow is going to be a rough day because we were off on Saturday. Okay. So I know that I'm going to be standing up for at least 4.5 to 5 hours straight before I even get a chance to like sit down. Like I'm just going to be standing up, casing mail and doing all that shit before I get a chance to like sit down in my mail truck. And that is all on top of trying to eat like a little snack before the route even begins, right? These are the things I'm going to be stuck trying to get done. Okay. And then I'm going to be outside, likely until 7:30 p.m. It's going to be a 12-hour day for me tomorrow. So when people are like, you don't even go outside, I'm like, yeah, I do. And fuck you. I don't know what you want me to do. This isn't my real job. This isn't my real job. Like when I'm not here, I'm at my jobby job and I'm working between 9 and 12 hours every day. And there's like you're not going to make me feel bad about it. So like, I mean, depending on where you are, it's unhealthy to be outside. Right. The Venn diagram for people who love Hassan and people that have daddy issues is a circle, and you will never convince me otherwise. You can watch shitty streamers all you want, but I will be making fun of you for it. Really. Yeah. To be quite honest, white people are the last people to call anyone slacktivist in any capacity, right? Because even if this was my 100, like this is what I did for like the entirety of my financial situation, I cannot figure out how to get in here, and it's like pissing me off. Please understand that I am not getting arrested. I'm also a person who lives in Texas. Like, there's no fucking way. There's no way. I'm not going to get arrested. I'm not going to deal with all of this like random bullshit. Why is this a maze? I'm not going to deal with that. I have a family that I'm supporting and we are supporting each other. But like, if I got arrested, this like definitely negatively impacts my entire family in a way that would be extremely detrimental. So no, I will not be going outside. I will be donating. I will be using my platform the best that I can, but I cannot go out there and risk getting arrested. Thank you. If you're white, we're waiting for y'all to get outside, and you're just like not doing that.
No, it would be stupid. So what do I say? I say, you guys are just as smart as I am. What do you know that I don't know? I have the humility to ask my audience, what wisdom do you have to share with me? I need more information. Why in the world would I not ask my viewership, who's smarter than me in many ways, right? Some of you have college degrees, some of you are PhDs, some of you are much more educated, some of you have lived experience I don't have. Why wouldn't I ask my audience for input? Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't I do that? So of course I'm not gonna sit here as a streamer and assume I know everything. This is why I like Turb, because Turb even said yesterday in his chat, when a disabled person was like, Turb, you don't know what you're talking about. He's like, maybe I don't. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a community effort. It is not about Brittany being at the top. It's about us coming together.
Exactly.
It's about us coming together to say, what do you know? Share your knowledge.
Thank you for the follow.
But instead, you're putting me on a pedestal and you're saying, oh, but now you're listening to your audience. I'm not being swayed by the internet. I'm getting informed. I'm getting good data.
Right. This is what this is why I say that this Twitch is different and it's a community, right? There is a reason I say that shit. And I say it very specifically because when I say community, I mean that shit. When people are going for partner, I'm there trying to. If you're in my community and you're trying to make affiliate, I'm right there trying to help you out, trying to help you get that. It's not just about me, and it never should be. And I should never be placed on a pedestal because I will fuck up. I will fail like everybody does. I like to ask questions. I like for y'all to correct me when I'm wrong. Y'all always tell me who isn't dead. Appreciate you for that. Because I genuinely think everybody's dead. Why can't I get in here? What is the deal with that? I'm like, what is the deal with that? Why can't I get in? So like, I just, y'all tell me all the time, like, oh no, they're alive. And I'm like, oh, and it's important to me when I talk about issues that I'm not affected by. Like if I talk about fat phobia, I'm like, I'm not affected by fat phobia, and I don't want to speak over people who, are fat and can have these conversations better than I can. From my observations, these are things that I see and why you need to not be fat phobic, right? But I can't be I'm not the expert on that. Why would I be? That doesn't make any sense. Obsessed with perfection and an imperfect. I mean, I'm dead. My body just hasn't caught up yet. But like, yeah, people just don't get it. Wait, what did New King God say? Oh, hold on, I missed it. I've been lurking for about 10 to 15 minutes now. I'll say this. I watch several marginalized leftist streamers. Your critiques, from what I can tell so far, have self-evident answers to them. With others, I frequently have to ask questions and have it spelled out in Crayola for me. You are a very good communicator. Now I'm going back to lurking. Oh my God, thank you. I try to use language that I want to be spoke to, and because I feel like sometimes people just like to use a lot of big words, and like I like a big word, I think everybody does, but I feel like I want to make sure that it's accessible, because I think sometimes just as general, a lot of leftists speak in a way that is not conducive for everybody being able to understand what they're saying. And I don't like that. So like, I just think we're playing these odd little games where we keep expecting all of people of color to be correct, and then also to just fall into lockstep, like with Graham Plattner. And when Shonda Black had a problem with it, everybody started acting as if Shonda Black is the asshole for having a problem. And they're like, oh, this guy. And it's like, what do you mean this guy? Like, what do you mean? There's gotta be a way to get over there, and I don't know how it works. I think that I have to alchemy something. But yeah, I just need that to be said. I just need that to be said, because I do feel like people just don't want to do the work. And Sean was right. He's still right.
From informed people about if I should change my mind. Because then you're saying the onus is on me, that I have to be the doctor, the lawyer. This is the capitalistic, individualistic attitude of I should know everything, I should educate, I should be the arbiter of all things knowledge. And I'm saying, girlies, I don't have time to be everything. So let's build the village together so I can say, hey, you know more than me. What did you learn? Okay? So that's interesting the way we view this, right? Like, how can I trust you if you're asking your audience for input? How could you trust me if I never did? Like, how could you trust me if I never listened to anybody but myself?
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. What's the point of being a leftist? What's the point of being a community builder? What's the point of sharing knowledge if I have to do all the research by myself without any help? I don't get it.
Correct.
Right? Okay.
Because that doesn't make sense.
I really wish you would clarify what that means. Like, when you say do less
Hi,
bad,
Jay.
it's hard to be a good person. I'm confused by what that means. The way you talk about being good sometimes sounds like an endless hamster wheel of trying to do better, but never really giving yourself or anyone else flowers for the work that they do or the effort they put in. But it's just, you don't hear it. I make sure to give everybody credit every time I talk about them, but nobody ever hears it. All you hear is the negative. I have always said nice things about almost every single person on the left I've ever covered. Every single time I talk about Chelsea Fagan, I say I like her. Every time I talk about Hassan, I say no doubt he's done good things. Every time I talk about Taylor, I go, damn, that's too bad. She's done a lot of good. Every single fucking time, I always say something fucking nice. But you never hear it. Because all your brain is trained to do is hear the negative.
Yep.
Every single time, even right now, I said it again. I will always.
And we do all know that. Like, we know that because of that, like, if you're a content creator, like, it's a reason I keep saying, hey, don't ever read in any like Reddit forum about yourself. Because whether it's good or bad, it's not good for you. Right? If it's good, you get too high on your own supply and you think you're great, which contributes to you not really understanding like where you have fucked up from time to time. And it allows you to like live in this echo chamber of greatness. Ethan Klein does that quite a bit. Because he's not on the same side of the internet of the internet as to all the people who, you know, have critiques, right? And then if you see something negative, all you're going to think about is the negative thing. If you have ever had the joy of having a YouTube comment section, you will end up focusing way too hard on the negative comments. And you just like ignore all of the positive comments, all the people who are glad you were speaking about something, all the people who felt the same way that you felt. There could be, you know, 150 comments and 148 of them are positive. You're going to focus on the two negative ones. It's just how you're built. You know, we're focused on the wrong thing. And yes, you can learn something from negative, you know, negativity and negative comments, but it shouldn't be like I had to go through this awful negative experience to learn. That's not we should not be doing that. I'm never going to figure this out. I'm feeling dumb. I'm stuck in here. So I'm going to switch a different spot because I can't figure out how to get through here. Okay, go.
Say nice things about people who have earned it. And I will always say wrong things about people who have earned it. I say it every single time. And that's why I say it's hard to be a good person, because you couldn't even hear me say good things. You only heard the negative. Even Chad is agreeing. We get flowers all the time. We get flowers all the fucking time. I even corrected people in the way they were talking about Taylor, and my chat said, hey, don't talk to her. Don't talk about her that way. It's ableist and misogynistic. I always say, don't say that about people. Be accurate with your criticisms. Even about Ethan Klein, I say, don't say that about him. That's not true. That's ableist. Okay?
Right.
So again, it's the reason it's hard to be a good person is because you can't even hear me when I am trying to be one. Right?
Right, because when I talked about Ethan Klein a long time ago, I had someone in the comments be like nasty to me and be like, oh, your thumbnail is of him having a tick. You're making fun of him. I'm like, first of all, I need you to understand a very important thing about how the fuck I make thumbnails. I literally grab a screenshot. I am not listening to anything that's happening half the time. I'm just like I was doing with the Hassan thing earlier. We were like ranking his suits. I'm literally just scrolling, looking for like a good capture, and I capture that. There was literally no thought like, oh, I need to catch him in a tick. I'm not a fucking ableist monster. Like, why would you think that of me? And why would that be the thing that you brought out and like say that, like, oh, you're making fun of him? And I'm like, absolutely not. What's wrong with you? That's not at all what I'm doing. You're just like nitpicking for the sake of nitpicking. It's wild. Like, you're trying to catch me in this thing, and I'm like, like, what do you mean? Right? Like, but you wanted to have something bad. Like, and I've said that about Hassan, where I'm like, it's good that he exists because he does XYZ. It's like, some people really don't. Oh no. Some people really don't. God damn it. Some people really don't like the I've had it ladies, and I can understand why you wouldn't, but I understand their their importance in this entire ecosystem. Like, they get a lot of like liberal white women to, you know, who play pickleball to like listen. Right? Like, they have a spot here because there's a lot of stuff they're just not going to understand because they're white women. And expecting them to understand that is wild behavior. Oh, Jesus. This is why you have to get out before fucking nighttime, bro. It gets weird in this motherfucker. Okay. Also, thank you for the follow. Hi, Boiled Peanuts. How are you?
Okay. So, just literally one thing Britt does to the point of annoying me, but I totally get it. It's enough, but it's not enough. Exactly. Okay. So now they go on to say, let's see. Let me find my place again. Okay. Please don't take this too personal. I'm really just trying to work a system of good and bad for myself, and I am using combos like this online to help me do it. And it's very important to me that I understand when people are good. If we don't have a clear idea of what good is, then judgment of something as bad feels meaningless to me. But that's your brain. It is meaningless. It's only meaningful if you put meaning to it. There is no meaning to existence. There's no inherent meaning to anything we're doing. And if that is a crushing realization, then pick a bubble, find a script, and treat it like a religion.
Right.
Because that's what religion does. It gives you meaning in the meaningless. That's what most people are looking for. If you do not want to accept that there is no inherent meaning to the universe that we have ever discovered and can be proved, then go find a bubble that makes you feel good about waking up every day.
Right.
Because that's what I do, only I do it with the radical acceptance that there is no inherent meaning. Because there being no inherent meaning, it doesn't stop me personally from finding my joy. But
Right.
it might stop other people, which is why I say there are levels to introspection. We have to have a deeper relationship with our biological experience. But for some people, coming to the realization that there is no inherent meaning is like truly soul crushing. It's okay. That's pretty common. But for some of us, right, we need more than just, oh, God's the meaning. Being a good
Right.
person's the meaning. Like, that can't be it. That's not good enough.
Yeah.
Right? You know? Chad said Hassan didn't shock his dog, but he's still a misogynist. Exactly. Like, I don't think he shocked his
Correct.
dog. And also, you know, but still, even me saying I don't think he shocked his dog doesn't mean he did or didn't. I'm just saying I don't think he did. Because we couldn't know. We weren't there. We didn't see it happen. I mean, we saw it happen, but we don't really know what happened. You know what I mean? And that's the point. I don't think he did. But I promise you, if we find out he did, people will be like, oh, Brittany, you were so wrong about this. It doesn't matter. Because I never
Right.
made a statement of fact. I said, I don't think he did. I didn't say I don't know he did. I don't know he didn't do nothing. But people don't know
Please
the
force
difference.
properly.
I just know that the reason the world is so difficult and the world is the way that it is because of exactly this issue. It's like, you guys don't know the difference. People don't know the difference between I think, I know, this is what you
Right.
should do. This is what, you know what I'm saying? Chet says, Hassan was abhorrent during the Amber Heard trial. It was disgusting. Oh, I have a feminist coming on next week. I have a femme girly coming on this week to talk about leftist men and misogyny and to talk
Right.
about Ariana Grande and eating disorders and the way that we talk about her. So it's going to be great. Okay.
Get it, girl. I'm
Next
excited for
week,
that.
Tuesday, I have a collab, assuming nobody cancels and everything goes according to plan. We got some leftist girlies coming on. It's going to be great. Okay. Chat says, maybe I should put a panel of girls together. Ooh, pause. Should I put a panel of the girls together? Maybe we can get Taylor on it. We should get a panel of girlies together. I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to get a panel of lefty girlies together to have a conversation. Maybe that's what should happen. Okay. It's going to be hard with scheduling, but okay. Chat says, or this person says, let's see, and thank you for the question if you're listening. I appreciate this, you know, and thanks for being a member. I do appreciate it.
Ooh, wait.
and I'm not
Medusone
taking it
has a
personal.
video. Yeah, it was really solid. And I think I know what you're talking about. Like the way that, because I had to say this and I have a video, I do have a video up. But there was a very specific reason that I did not talk about it. Number one, I was still like, and am still, but I was working through, internalized misogyny, right? As one does. And I also had been in a abusive relationship that was similar in some ways to what was happening with the Amber Heard case. The internalized misogyny aspect of it was mostly that she was, young, and, Johnny Depp had his relationship with Vanessa Paradis, whom he didn't marry. Had 2 kids, and then it was like it felt like the moment that he found a woman 20 years younger, he was willing to get married and do all this shit when he didn't do that. And I was like, ugh. And obviously he's the problem. You know what I mean? He was a problem, but I was still working through that kind of internalized misogyny of disliking her and calling her talentless. Because, she only got here because she was married to Johnny Depp, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think she's talentless. I just, she's a one-note actress. Like, there's a lot of actresses who are one-note actresses, and we don't treat them like that. But those were things that kept me from from talking about it. And it was very specific because I was like, yeah, I don't want to talk about this shit because I do not want to open up wounds that I'm not yet ready to open up, which is fine, right? Ooh, that thing is sleeping. So let me just go over here and it will hopefully leave me alone and not fucking get up, because killing those fucks is actually really hard. So I just didn't do it. But watching the way that people, like men, gleefully would like talk about certain details of the case and like joke and laugh and call her name, I hated it. Because what do you mean? Yeah, and that's exactly, Kusi, that's exactly it. Like, and like, oh, and then they keep trying to come up with gotchas for why she sucks. And I'm just like, just say you're a misogynist and go. Because I want y'all to please pay attention. Like everybody, like especially misogynists, conveniently forget that she never named him. And he very deliberately wanted this to be public to humiliate her. And I just think that that is fascinating. I just think it's fascinating. When you look at it from that perspective, it's fascinating, is it not? How you wouldn't, you know, and the reason, like, I can say this now, you know, like my ex-husband was very much like, we both agreed, thank you for the follow. We had both agreed, like, oh, if we ever broke up, we're not going to be those people who are on fucking Facebook talking about we tried our best and like, blah, 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 blah. Because I was not doing the things that the narcissist wanted. And yes, listen, I'm not throwing that term around. Because I was not doing the thing that the narcissist wanted. He decided to humiliate me by making an announcement on Facebook that we were getting divorced. I had to find out through a friend. He like put it all on blast. I had to find out through a friend. This is when I had Facebook. I no longer do, but I immediately got rid of that Facebook. I deleted it and created a new one immediately. Like as soon as I found out, I was like, oh, fuck all that. And refriended some of my, like the people I gave a fuck about. And they were like, is this really you? Or because, you know, Facebook always had that problem of like people impersonating your profile. And I was like, oh yeah, this is me. Do not, like, I'm not, yeah, that was wild, you know? And so like seeing him do that, obviously that would trigger someone like me who's been through that kind of shit. Someone who's like not physically abusing you, but emotionally and mentally is like breaking you down at every fucking turn. So like, yes, I was just like, this is too much. And I can't, like, at the time I was just like, I can't talk about it. Even now, like, it doesn't affect me near as bad, which is why I can talk about it. But like, yeah. And watching so many men, and they haven't apologized. They haven't apologized. They haven't been like, oh, that was actually the wrong take. I was incorrect. I was incorrect about how I covered this. I shouldn't have done it like this. They just moved the fuck on after all of these things that they've done. And let's not forget about all the women with internalized misogyny who were also sitting there being like, I'm so sorry, but I've been abused and I did. Girl, everybody's story ain't the same. Fuck you for that. You know this. Don't be a fucking victim and a pick-me-ass bitch. That's wild. What do you mean? What do you mean? Did you really sit there and say like, when I was abused, like blah, 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 get the fuck up. Like, I can't stand y'all. I'm glad. Thank you for the follow. I'm so fucking glad for you that you didn't experience it this way and you didn't react this way, but everybody ain't the goddamn same. And you still have some healing to do. And I want you to do it so that you'll stop doing this, so that you'll stop telling other people who've experienced domestic violence that their experience doesn't mirror yours and therefore they are not a victim of DV. Like, fuck you. And the horse you rode in on. Right? So what happens is, well, I'm a woman and this isn't misogyny. Well, I'm black and I say this isn't racist. Shut the fuck up. Right. So it got in this like weird way. Yeah, like those people were not only trying to gatekeep, but they were letting the misogyny allow them and their love of Jack Sparrow. It wasn't even Johnny Depp that they cared about. It was Jack Sparrow that they liked because they don't fucking know Johnny Depp. They just knew Jack Sparrow. So it was very easy for these people to be on this like particular side of the whole thing and be like, well, I don't know. Johnny Depp doesn't seem like he would do that. He's cool. I'm like, you don't know Johnny Depp. You know fucking Jack Sparrow, a character that he's been playing for years. That's like the only character that he's played. You like that guy. You have no idea who Johnny Depp is. And that's who you're fighting for. And you're not paying attention to any of the details of the case. You have decided that you don't like Amber Heard because you think she's a gold digger, and that's the end. And he was just mimicking Keith Richards anyway, right? Right. Voting for Trump in 2016 was seen as a big deal back then as it is now. And you skated by the fact that you asked for what makes me say is, and I gave you recent examples of essentialism. Someone else's right-wing past is another's past trauma. So yes, that matters. It's ironic you're speaking on dismissing Black voices while doing that very thing to the person you're talking to. Correct. I'm missing what's happening. I'm going to have to go check the context for all of that, but I will be back on that in a moment because I'm taking so long on this video. Of course I am, because I'm a certified yapper, but you know.
Even when I get passionate, I'm annoyed with your argumentation.
No, I
because
think it's about
feel
Hassan.
Like I've explained this 1,000 times, and you being a long-term member is so interesting to me that you're still not getting it, but that's okay. That's what's the most interesting about my job is people who've been watching me, truly watching me like a lot, how they don't get it. How I can explain things 100 times and somebody will get it in chat. I'm like, okay, they see it, they get it. And another person just like won't get it. That's okay. It doesn't mean anything. It just, there's a reason why. And the question is, how can I say it in a way that's different? What can I say that you're not getting, right? Because already you've said things in this paragraph that I've never said, but you're like, you said this. I was like, I never said this. And so the thing is like, why did you hear it this way, right? Okay. Chat says, let's see, or this commenter says, okay, I'm trying to figure it out for myself. If we don't have a clear idea what good is, okay. I know you likely maybe not think of unsubbing from someone as making a judgment of someone, good or bad, but it is saying I don't trust this person enough to listen to them, and that says something. I listen to Tucker Carlson on occasion. Right. Not because I trust him, but because I'm keeping up with things.
Right.
Right? Like, I'm not subscribed to him. I listen to Ben Shapiro sometimes to see what's going on with Benny Boy.
Correct.
Sometimes I watch Hassan. Sometimes I watch Ludwig. Sometimes I watch Asmin.
Right, because you can't, as much as like I try really hard not to like go in those spaces because it's depressing, actually, you can't discuss and understand what the other side is hearing and seeing. Because you have to understand like where some of their delusions or weirdo behavior is coming from. Because like if you're going to like if you're going to get somebody out of a cult, you cannot do that from a place of haha, you're stupid and you're a loser. You're going to have to do it from a place of like, I see what's happening. Okay. These are the places where you're incorrect, like this. And now you know what information they are getting. What the fuck are these? Because if you don't know like what their talking points are and what they're saying, then you're confused. You know what I mean? Like you're not able to like really have a good conversation. Oh my God, please. Like you don't know what their beliefs are. Right? Like you don't know what it is that they are thinking about and what point that they are coming from. And you kind of have to know that to understand how to combat what they're talking about, or if you can even combat it. Like there's some people who are so fucking far lost in the sauce, there's nothing you can do to fix it. You will literally not be able to fix this shit. You know, and you've got to prepare yourself for that reality. Because again, if you don't know what planet these folks are living on, how are you supposed to like talk to see what points they're talking about? Like we're watching right now, the reason that a lot of leftists can say with pretty good certainty that like, hey, the Democrats and the Republicans, ooh, you're right. I do need to take a little breaky break. You're correct. But when was the last time, you know, we're like able to say this? Hey, guess what? Democrats and Republicans are the same party for sure now. For sure, they are both melting down at the DSA wins. And this becomes important. 21 guns. And you wouldn't know this if you were literally only watching leftist media or like leftists that you like. Because not all of them are showing the Republican side, right? You may not know that. I'm just taking all of these things because I'm a loot goblin. Speaking of which, at some point I've got to start my loot goblin stream team. And all we do is get together and loot. Okay. We just get together and we loot. But yeah, you are correct. I have not taken a break and somebody hit me with a hydrate. So let me. Thank you, Ness, for the hydrate. And let me get up. Let me move my body. Thank you, mods, for taking care of me, because you know I don't take care of myself. I shall return, because I'm gonna pee too. I'm gonna pee, you're gonna pee. I'm also gonna take my dog to pee. So that's what also takes a little bit of extra time. I will do that. Yeah, so you can, and that's like one of the reasons that Denim's win was so big, Ness, because it prevents, like, if you don't want to give, because like the thing we all know about content creation is the view is paying that creator. If you want to know what the hell Ethan Klein is up to, but you're like, I literally do not want to pay that man money. I don't want to give him a view, but I want to know what's happening. If you want to know what's going on with Jeffree Star or James Charles or any other person, and even if it's like Hassan, you don't like Hassan, you know what I mean? If people don't like me and they want to watch me through somebody else, not that that happens that I'm aware of, but if you don't like me and you want to like see what I'm doing without giving me a view and putting any sense in my pocket, hello, that's what these spaces exist for. So anyways, I'm gonna pee. So one thing I do want to say right quick, because you know, I have great mods and we check everything. I don't know how many different ways I have to say this, but this is a Black and brown queer space primarily. So one thing we don't do, and we're not gonna do, and will not be tolerated, is arguing with Black and brown folks in this space. We don't have a lot of spaces. We just don't. And we're not going to have our experiences invalidated, because they're invalidated everywhere else we go. So this is not a space for that. If you want to, well, actually people, cool, but not here. You can do that in your white guy spaces who will allow you to do that. But you're absolutely not going to do that in Black and brown spaces in under zero circumstances. I'm not going to have it, because we have way too much of that everywhere else we go when we try to explain things, and people keep telling us that we're losing our minds and gaslight us. We're not doing that here. So
Sometimes I watch it, I want to smash my computer shut, you know? But the issue is like subbing or unsubbing isn't about trusting people. The statement I was making as a public figure was saying I couldn't in good faith send you to Taylor's videos to watch her as a source unless you were making the judgment yourself. Same thing with Chelsea Fagan or anyone else. My job as a creator, what I've learned about my job as a creator is that my audience, whether they know it or not, they do listen to what I say and they take it seriously enough. So I have to take it seriously enough about who I send them to watch or who I promote, which means I can't live in a world where I can just have fun with Taylor, because Taylor does damage to a lot of people and we don't agree on everything. So it doesn't mean that Taylor is not redeemable. It means, given her situation, given Chelsea's values, given all these girlies' values, I can't in good faith tell my audience like, oh my God, I love them, go check them out. Because the truth is, I don't love them. I'm a little annoyed. I did like them. I wish I could like them more. But when they talk, I go, no, why are you saying this? I thought you were a leftist. Wait, hold on. So.
Because I have the same sensation with Taylor. Because I found her through Olay. So because I like Olay, I assumed she was good people. But then my queer folk, me being a queer, and Black and brown people started to be like, hey, there's also this, there's also that, there's also this. And I know, like, I was like, okay, well, she's made some missteps. But overall, like, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, because sometimes cutting everyone out is not necessarily great, right? But at some point you have to start looking and being like, girl, you're making so many missteps. It's a little bit wild. You keep making these missteps, even when people tell you you're making these missteps, and you just like get on the internet and argue with people back and forth instead of like understanding, like taking a step back for a minute. Like, I don't feel like Taylor does that enough. I don't feel like Taylor takes the steps back that she needs to be taken back to be like, hey, you know, oh, thank you, Mimi. But like, realistically speaking, I'm just like, I don't think she takes the steps that she needs to take to like reevaluate what she's doing, and doesn't think about the harm that she's causing by, you know, continuing to dig her heels in on things, especially some things where I'm just like, girl, that's not that important. Or in this case, like finding out that she collabed with Ethan Klein. I'm like, girl, why would you do that? And that doesn't make any sense to me. But it's very white feminism of you. So now I have to side eye you. I can be like, yes, you're correct on Section 230, but I can also at the same time go, yeah, but you're very, white woman feminist doing things. And that does not vibe with me. No, she goes all guns blazing and thinks she's always right. Right. And that's the issue. Sorry. Yes, you're correct. Sorry. Yes. Sex Pestiny, not Ethan Klein. She collabed with Sex Pestiny. And so like with that, thank you for the correction. And so see how easy it is to like be corrected and be like, you're right. I don't know why more people can't do that. Hello? It's not hard. But like, for you to collab with that man and like just after the allegations. Okay, girl. And then have conversations about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. It doesn't make any sense. Because now it just feels more like you're chasing the YouTube money than you are, actually protecting communities. And like, this is, again, the issue that a lot of us, have with white leftists. There's a reason that there's very specific people on this platform that I fuck with. And it's because they don't allow people to devalue Black and brown queer experiences in their chat and will call them out in chat and be like, what we're not gonna do is. That's why I like those people. That's why I fuck with Graham. That's why I fuck with Brett, because they don't allow it. Now, I know people have run into situations. I wasn't there for those. So I can't validate or invalidate those experiences, and I would never, try to do so. But when I've been there, even without chatting, without them knowing I've been there, they've been doing the right thing without me saying anything, without knowing that I'm even there. I don't know if they're looking at their list, so I have no idea. But as far as I'm aware, most of us don't do that because it's actually bad for your spirit. You might end up calling somebody out who's lurking, which is awkward.
I'm not unsubbing from them because Brittany, aren't going to watch Taylor Lorenz anymore. I'm saying I'm unsubbing from them as a statement that if Taylor wants my subscription, if Taylor wants me to promote her, then Taylor and I have to be on the same page. And if we're not going to be on the same page, that's okay. Because not all people left of conservatives are doing the same thing. If Taylor wants to build coalition with Hassan and all these other people, and that's the direction they want to go into, great. If they want to work with the DNC or the DSA or whoever they want to work with, great. I don't want to do that. I do philosophy and I'm trying to do other things. So I don't have to do this, right? But if I had to march in a protest, I would march right along Taylor and Hassan and I'd be happy with it. Because ultimately, it's bigger than us, but my channel is me. My channel is only as big as my audience or bigger than me in that way, but it's not big enough that I have to build coalition with Taylor because I specifically didn't do politics, so I wouldn't have to do this. I specifically
and like this becomes a big important, like this is what differentiates progressives, leftists, whatever you want to call it, from the right. We do not have to be in lockstep, and we shouldn't be. And the amount of people who don't understand that is astounding. We shouldn't be in lockstep because then that means we've stopped questioning. That means we're not like looking at our leaders deeply and like closely and making sure that their values align with us. If we don't do that, then like then we would all just be sitting there being like, yep, Graham Plattner, that's the best we can do, right? Like that's where we would be. And it's like, yeah, Grant, like some people will be like, well, the reason the right keeps winning is because they're in lockstep. And it's like, that's not the reason, it's racism. But like, that's not why. It's not because they're all in following blindly is bad. As many Trump supporters are finding out. They're finding out that their blind loyalty, and I'm not talking about the people in the MAGA cult, I'm just talking about like those who voted for Trump. They are finding out that their blind loyalty is fucking them. And now that they're realizing this, some of them are waking up. Some of them may switch sides. Some of them may still vote for conservatives in the end. But the point is that you can't just keep doing this thing where you just follow blindly, right? Yeah, this is a part of working in community too. People aren't going to agree on everything, but as long as some foundational values are aligned, the method and path towards liberation can and does take many, 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 many forms, right? Always questioning was being critical with your reality and don't just accept it. Exactly. Because I feel like it gets gross when people just do this, like, oh, we're just gonna blindly follow so-and-so because like we want to, and you should be questioning that. You know, I think it's a big part of why people stop being religious, right? Because you start questioning and then they get mad at you for having questions. You know, when you were young and you're like, and you started like learning more and more and you're just like, Noah's Ark doesn't actually make sense because that would be like a huge ark, like it would take up the whole planet to have like 2 of every creature. And then also, why would he go to those links to put all of those creatures on there, right? And then they go extinct. That doesn't make sense. Explain it. And then they get mad at you for asking these questions because they just want you to follow blindly. And for a lot of us who fall out of love with religion or never really had love in the first place and still thought it was weird and kept asking questions and kept getting booted out of like Sunday school and shit like that, you go, okay, well, I'm just not going to follow blindly. And so because I can't follow blindly, I can't follow your religion, right? So like we stay curious and it pisses them off. I'll still look for her job because she's one of the only ones doing it. Sadly, not many leftists do tech stuff and report on Congress evils online. Yeah, and that's the thing. I will still look for like some of her stuff, right? Because like her tech stuff is top tier. She really gets in there, and I'm gonna be so fucking for real, and that I prefer to hear a lot of tech stuff from women because there's not enough women doing it in the game, and if they are, they're just not big enough to where I see them. And that's not like their fault. That's, you know, how the algorithms work, but they're just not big enough yet to where I have access to see them show up on my feed. So until they do, she's the biggest one in the game, you know, as a woman talking about tech shit.
I am not political in the sense
Sorry,
that I'm
Mimi.
a political creator. I am political, but I'm not a political creator because I don't want to have to do this for the sake of winning because I found it to be unethical.
Debate bro shit.
Okay, so does that make sense? Chat says, or this comment says, let's see, sorry for how long this was, and I really hope I'm coming off clearly. I want to understand how you make these judgments and the whole, okay, this part, let's talk about it. They said, and this whole, would you sit with Taylor on the bus doesn't make sense either. It feels like high school to me. Like just because people might be mad at her and not want to talk to her, it feels like groupthinky to me. Like just because the bubble is mad, I should be. I want to have my own sense of right and wrong. And I also started watching you because I saw you as someone who wanted the same thing. So you're doing to me what
I desperately need people. And I do mean desperately. I desperately need people to stop hearing words and then using them. They use groupthinky, and at no point, even in this, right, has Brittany said you should not watch Taylor Lorenz. At no point has she said that. She has not given the indication that like, you shouldn't watch her because I don't like her. That would be her encouraging groupthink. And in all the stuff I've watched of her so far, because she's like really, really smart and comes at things from like angles even like I didn't think about. Yeah, words do mean things. And it's just very frustrating that she does that. And I'm just like, y'all will literally, this is what I mean when we talk about how people don't use critical thinking. Right? And this is what we mean when we're saying like white people are given so much grace. And this person wrote an entire paragraph not giving grace to Brittany. Okay.
what I'm doing to Taylor, and you're like, why are you doing that to Taylor? Right? Because you're saying now you don't trust me for how I treated Taylor, and I'm saying I don't trust Taylor for how she treated Maysoon. Yeah? You don't trust me for asking my audience what they think. I don't trust Taylor for being mean to Maysoon. So now you're questioning me and I'm questioning Taylor. Yeah, exactly. You get it. You're doing exactly what I'm doing, but for different reasons. So the question is, why are we doing it? Okay? Right? I'm asking my audience information because I want to learn, and I believe my audience is smart and can teach me things, and that I can teach them things. Yes, chat said it was a metaphor. It was a metaphor. The bus analogy is a metaphor, or the bus example is a metaphor.
Right. Having a criticism for someone doesn't mean I still can't support them. Right. Like, I have a lot of criticisms for Hassan, but I think he has obviously a very important place in progressivism, right? Like, he's not in a vacuum. I don't, I can have criticisms of him and still be like, he's still on our side. There might be a lot of things that he's doing incorrectly, but at least in some aspects, he is trying to learn from them. Not all, but he's still trying to learn from them. But he's also only one man. So I don't expect one man to have it all together. That's like actually an insane thought process. Like, oh yeah, this one man has to have everything and do everything I want exactly as I want him to do it. It's why, I don't watch him. You know what I mean? Like, I generally don't watch him. On occasion, I think I watch him more like if he's on Lesbian Hot Sauce's stream, if like Doodleburb is watching him, like, sure, I'll do that. But overwhelmingly, I don't. A big thing too is his chat moves so fast, it actually makes my head spin and makes me like feel really like dizzy. So I just can't. I'm gonna be so honest. It's just moving so fast. It just makes me feel dizzy. I don't even know how his eyes catch literally anything. And so like, I just don't understand the way that people operate like this. Oh my God, not infantilizing people or your own audience. Brit sounding woke here. Right. Oh my God, she's woke.
It only seems like a mean girl attitude because you want me. I'm pretty sure Taylor also wouldn't want to sit next to anybody on the bus who might not be in a mask. So like, the idea is like, it is a little bit like high school in the sense that I'm the teacher and you're the students, and Taylor would be one of my students, and I got to put my students on the bus in a way that they won't break out in a fight. Because in that position, I'm the person in charge. So I'm not one of you. I'm the teacher. So then I'm like, okay, Hassan, Ludwig, Asmin, like Taylor. Okay, well, they're not going to get along. So Asmin can't come because he's a fucking asshole. Ludwig can't come. He's too much of a centrist. Hassan can't come. He's a misogynist. And Taylor can't come because she was mean to Maysoon. So who else is supposed to come? Do you know what I'm saying? If I was a teacher putting together this field trip, how am I supposed to seat you on the bus? You know what I mean? What am I supposed to do here? You're asking me to make something possible that like we can't even do on the internet. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. Okay? I'll put Taylor on the bus when Hassan puts me on his bus. Like, let's be real. We can't get along for a reason. FD said this. FD said, I'm friends with people who don't get along. You know what I mean? He knows people who don't get along. Yeah. Because we might all be on the left, but we're all doing it a different way.
And let's not pretend like part of being an adult. You know, when you were like 16, and it's not really until you get into college that you start understanding this and start maneuvering around this properly. But when you're like in middle school and high school, if your friend doesn't like somebody, then you just don't like them. You don't know what the backstory is. You don't know why. If your friend group starts splintering, you're just like, oh, okay. And you choose sides. Being an adult means you don't have to choose sides because you're an adult. You can still be friends with people, right? And you just don't invite them to the same party, right? And sometimes you end up finding out, maybe these other people aren't my friends. Maybe what I thought was a friendship isn't a friendship because they've made no attempts to communicate with me and reach out to me. So I was incorrect in that assessment. And I'm glad that I have, these friends who have proven and shown that we're friends, right? But that's adulthood. Like, we don't all have to agree with one another. And I think it's weird to try to make that happen. It's one of the reasons why, you have to watch your parasocial relationships, because what you're doing in your parasocial relationships is being like, well, I want all my parasocial friends to like each other. And if they don't like each other, I'm going to have to pick sides on which of my parasocial friends I'm going to watch, which is wild. Come on. All my friends don't have to be friends. They really don't. I feel FT. All my friends aren't friends, and I'm not friends with all my friends' homies. Right. I just like, I don't have to do that. I just don't have to. Like, unless the thing that happened between me and the friend, it was like something so egregious where I'm just like, they will treat you like this too. It's like, I don't like them. And it's fine if you do, you can still hang out. Like, it's not a big deal. I don't like the way that they talk to me. I don't like the way they did X. I don't like the way they did Y. It's not for me. But that doesn't mean you and I aren't friends. It just means like, hey, if you're having a gathering or whatever, I'm likely not going to go if they're there because I don't want to, start shit. I don't want to get in a position where we start shit and we arguing. I don't want to ruin the party because like we can't be in the same space, especially because that person doesn't know how to be chill and be an adult. Like that's the problem. A lot of times the other person just doesn't know how to be a chill ass adult and be like, yeah, we don't have to like each other and we can be in the same space and literally not talk to each other. And maybe that's like super Taurus of me, but like I can be in the space of somebody I don't fucking like as long as don't fucking talk to me. You know I don't like you. Like also like we don't know y'all enough for that, right? Like I don't know these people. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, like I will go to bat for foreign. I know foreign, not like super well, but enough to be like, yeah, don't fuck with foreign. What are you doing? But I'm not going to ride for Brittany, not in a mean way. I don't know Brittany. Now, if somebody says that she said something that she didn't say, I'd be like, yeah, that's not what she said at all. What she said was blah, 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 blah. A mosquito fucking bit me while I took the dog out to pee and it itches like fuck. I'm going to need to get one of my star things before because I'm highly allergic to these. And I probably want to be home anyway. You know what, Oreo? Yes. That's me 99.99999% of the time. I don't even want to be here. How dare you? Hi, Shy. So it's just wild to me. And this is where we talk about like watching your parasocial relationships and making sure that they don't cross into unhealthy boundaries. Like it's cool when like meets like and we do all hang out. But also that might not happen every single time. All your faves may never hang out. You may end up finding out that some of your faves don't fucking like each other. That's okay. You can still like them.
And I, by the way, am joking about the Hassan putting me on his bus thing. That was a joke. Okay? I don't want to be on his bus because, again, I'm not going to play those social games with him that he's going to expect.
Right.
Just like Destiny expected, just like any of these boys expect. Every time I'm in social groups, it's always, Brittany, don't say that. Brittany, don't do this. Brittany, don't call this out. Brittany, don't make me look bad. Well, don't tell me things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying I'm good, bro. If
I can see that,
Taylor is
Nanto.
allowed to yell at me soon, that I can respectfully say unsubscribe. You know? Okay. That's why it feels like high school, by the way, because we're not having this a conversation like adults. Because there is no adulthood is high school with money. It is high school with money. Let me be abundantly clear. All of adulthood is high school with money.
She is not fucking wrong. She is not wrong. That is a bar. Right. The amount of times in my big age of 46 that I've had to have a conversation to be like, we're fucking adults and we can talk to each other like adults. I've had to do it to my own mom. Okay. I've had to be like, Mom. Because she was upset about the stove. About us, because it's a gas stove. And she was like, well, it's, y'all just walk by and you don't clean it. I'm like, we don't cook. You're the only one frying and cooking shit. So like, clean the stove. Right. And I started telling her like, we are all adults. So like, if you have an issue, don't just stew. Like she was mad that like, not too long after the surgery, I had left a pot. I made noodles because I had to have soft food and I'm fucking tired of soft food. And she was upset that I left this pot, sitting on this thing. And she was just like, I kept waiting for you to do something about it. I'm like, why didn't you just say something? Like you have a mouth. I completely forgot about it. I have ADHD. Like I was also on a lot of pain meds at the time. So like, what do you mean? Just tell me. Just be like, hey, you left this pot here. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll handle that. because I don't go in that kitchen very often. As you can see, we mostly order food out. Because nobody in this house likes to cook, okay? So like, right, literally our whole conversation last night, like the amount of times that as an adult I have to be like, I'm an adult and like we need to do things in an adult way. You can fucking talk to me like an adult, or we can just not fucking talk, period. It doesn't have to be like this, but it literally is like, adulthood is high school with money, because so many people are still bringing that same high school energy of, well, I don't like them, so you can't like them. And, you know, if that's going to be the case, then you're the one that I'm not going to be friends with. Understand that. If you're coming to me being like, well, I don't like them, and so you can't be friends with them, I'd be like, babes, I'm going to have to let you go, because this will not be the last time that you do this shit. And I'm not going to just be stuck with you and your weird bullshit. Like, we're grown. They're not doing that. The friend on this side is not being like, oh, if you're friends with me, you can't be friends with them, because they're also being adults. Like, we're not doing that.
That's why it's really hard to be the adult in the room. And I don't want to be one of the students. I do want to be the adult in the room, which means I have to say, yeah, you can't come. I have to make the adult decision to say, you are going to cause a problem if I invite you. Not because I'm unfairly segregating you, but because you did it yourself. It's like Ethan Klein feeling entitled to his audience loving him or everybody siding with him. We're not entitled to loving Ethan Klein. You know what I mean?
Right.
We tried. Everybody gave him so many chances and so much grace. He made his decision. Hila made her decision. We're not obligated to be friends with these people. You know what I mean? And so you're doing this thing where you're like, why can't Ethan come to the party? He's gonna make it weird for people, bro. The people
Super
I
weird.
love, the people I want to build coalition with, the people I want to build community with. You're gonna make it weird. I would love for you to come. Would you be willing to do introspection and change? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, well then you can't come. Right?
Right. And this is what makes it like hard sometimes
they said
to like want to do collabs, because it stresses me out. I'm a very anxious person. I have CPTSD for reasons I'm not going to explain, because we don't know each other like that. But there are people who are very close to me who know why now. And that's how, like, I know that people are like my closest friends, because I can tell them my deepest, darkest secrets, and they're like, damn, that sucks. But I'm a very anxious sort. Even when we played Mecha Chameleon, I was so stressed out through most of it. Like I just like kind of sat still and tried not to take up space, because it stressed me out. I was like, I'm sorry about your period. We should organize, we should definitely get together and organize Outlast trials. Hell yeah. Yes. We need to have a Outlast trials rotation with some folks. Hi, camp. But yeah, this is where shit can get weird and people just kind of expect everybody to hang out. I'm anxious and it's hard for me to do these collabs. Ooh. Listen, I love these because it allows me to chew my food on this side of my mouth, which I'm fucking tired of. Anyway, but yeah, I think that the way that people think that everybody should just like collaborate and be like, oh, you're my favorite and you should collab with this person. First of all, some of these people I don't want to collab with. Okay, let's just be so fucking for real. And I'm not a debate bro. I am not. I don't ever want to be one. I don't want to go on, what is that called? The circle jerk. You know what I'm talking about? Where they're like one person versus so-and-so, you know, Jubilee. There we go. Not me calling it the circle jerk. But like, that is not my ministry. That's not what I want to do. I don't want to argue my humanity with people who don't think that I have humanity. It's like, it literally does nothing for me. It doesn't make me wet. It doesn't make my clit hard. None of that happens for me. I find it very depressing. I'm like, if I have to argue with you, like I'd rather cut you out of my life. Like that's very Taurus of me, but I'd much rather just be like, okay, well, bye. This is too much effort. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't like the debating. That's why everyone would say, like, that's why there's space for debate bros. Like Jovan does that. There's a black femme creator that does that. Couldn't be me. I don't have the energy to argue with people like that. Like, at all. And I'm not going to. Like, it's 2026. I'm not going to argue my humanity with you. I'm not going to listen to you be like, well, what rights do trans people not have? Shut the fuck up, Brenda. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I just started following Tanika. I think that's her name, but she is the debater. And while she's funny, it's still debate. Right. Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so, like, and there's space for that, right? There are creators who do that. But then, again, expecting other creators to do the thing. Like, I don't even like Asmongold, but I do respect the fact that he's just like, I don't want to debate. It makes me anxious. And I don't like him. I can not like him and still be like, no, he's right for that. He's right for understanding his limitations and being like, yeah, no, that makes me anxious and stressed out. And there's really no reason to do that. Okay, cool. He knows his place. Like, that makes sense. And I don't like it when people try to do the thing where they're like, oh, well, that means he's a loser. I mean, he is, but that's not the reason why, right? It's not because he won't debate. He knows where his space is, and he's smart enough to understand that he does not want to engage in that it causes him stress. So he's not going to do that. And I don't think he should have to. Calling people to the table to debate, like even that goofy girl, Pearly Things, like, she should never have gotten herself involved in debating because she looks dumb as fuck, and that's not where she went well. Like, that did not work out well for her because she couldn't answer basic questions, right? And she ends up looking stupid because she is, but she looks stupid too, I'm going to hell for that.
Okay, it's groupie thinking to me, like, just because the bubble is mad, I should be. For the record, I'm not mad at Taylor because people are mad at her. I am personally, I am ethically offended. I am not personally offended. She didn't do it to me. I am principledly against what Taylor did to Maysoon. Principled. Like, I couldn't even imagine doing what she did to Maysoon. Do you know what I'm saying? You're acting like, oh, my audience is mad, so I'm mad. I am shocked and appalled. And then there were some people who were like, Brittany, why are you shocked about Taylor Lorenz being this way? Guys, with peace and love, Habibis, please. Right. You have to allow adults to show offensiveness. If every teacher, when in a group of students, didn't show disdain or disgust when someone threw around a slur, the kids wouldn't learn it's bad. You act like everybody fucking knows when we're living in a world where Donald Trump is president.
Right.
You act like everybody who watches me who already fucking knows. You act like I'm not a teacher in front of a classroom and I have to signal to the rest of the class, this isn't okay. You forget. Because you're in your arrogance and your ego that everybody should just know better.
Right.
Except you forget, not everybody. For some people, this is their first day on the internet. This is their first day ever hearing about Taylor Lorenz.
Right. I've said this for years. Back when I made beauty content, you could fucking go back and find this shit. It used to piss me the fuck off the way people would be like, oh, I don't know who doesn't know this, but there are people. Do y'all not understand how the internet works? Not you, y'all in my audience, but there's like way too many people who just don't understand that everybody is not watching the same fucking internet. We're not all on the same internet. Sorry, I'm yelling at you, but we're not all on the same internet. Okay? The shit I see on my feed, the only reason my close friends are even seeing the shit that I see is because I'm constantly sending them the shit on my feed, which then changes their feed to mirror the shit that I see. So the white friends that I have that are really close to me and dear to me because they are fucking amazing people and actively anti-racist, it's a requirement to be my friend if you are white, to be actively anti-racist. It is a requirement. That it's not a suggestion. It is a requirement. But like, they're happier because their feed starts to show them the world that I live in. And it wasn't showing them that before. So now, very clearly, I see it because they will send me a reel that I have already seen because their feed is starting to look like mine. So we're running into the same type of content. And that tells me a couple of things. that one, they are in fact actively anti-racist. Two, they're looking at my 8,000 reels that I send every day. And three, it is updating and changing their worldview every day. Every day they get to see like new and different things. They get to engage in culture in ways that they don't necessarily get to do any other way if their feet had just stayed white. What the fuck do you mean? Oh, he found me. Oh no, I'm here. Oh, ooh, oh, goddamn, sir. Hold on. Let me hit pause and let me hit play. Yes, this is Tainted Grail. This is Fall of Avalon, Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon.
Their first time ever hearing somebody get offended at somebody going at somebody on Instagram. It's like you wonder why the world is the way that it is because you got apathetic. You forgot to continue being, this isn't okay. You forgot to keep saying, oh no, we don't say that. Oh no, because you don't want to look like a person who didn't know. You don't want to look like a person who's ignorant. Like, oh, Brittany doesn't know racism exists. Brittany doesn't know that ableism exists. That's
right.
Your ego. Of course I know those things exist. Allow me to be shocked that we still have to experience them. Okay, they go on to say, I want my own sense of right and wrong, and I also started watching you because I saw you as someone who wanted the same thing. Okay, I want my own sense of right and wrong. Okay, I do have my own sense of right and wrong. Okay? My own sense of right and wrong is different, and that's my morals.
Right.
I have to engage with my ethics, but my ethics are not my morals. What I think is right and wrong have nothing to do with what I think society should do, because society isn't just about Brittany's ego.
Right.
That's a Catholic. That's religious thinking. That's how religious people think. Religious people think what I think is right and wrong is what you think is right and wrong. And I'm saying absolutely not. My morals are different than my ethics.
Hermie,
Okay?
I'm sorry.
What I think is right and wrong has nothing to do with what you think should be right and wrong. We're in negotiations. I say, hey, I think this is right and wrong. What do you think is right and wrong? And then we would negotiate for a society that includes all those nuances of right and wrong. Okay? That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Chad said yesterday's stream was the first time I heard about Taylor Lorenz. Well, there you go. Okay. Okay. They went on to say, I understand how Taylor was labeled as entitled in this, but I also think that's coming from a place of feeling like her life is being devalued from the like of care of airborne illness. Maybe I'm giving her too much grace, but I just see her as trying to be very hard to protect. I just see her as trying very hard to protect people she is losing perspective. Okay, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I said, hey, I can cover this on stream tomorrow. They said, hey, I think that would help me build my system of judgment.
Oh,
Thank you.
fight?
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So I'm very passionate about this because, again, when you guys ask questions, you add in accusations, which automatically makes it very hard for me to answer a question because now I don't know which one am I answering? Am I answering the accusation or am I answering the ethics question? Learn to ask questions. If you can practice this, girls, it's really important. Learn to ask questions that don't then require the answer to pull apart what you got wrong. So already in the beginning part, they put me in a weird, awkward situation where here, they said, oh, you said you would do better if you were in Hassan's spot, as if to imply that I'm trying to get Hassan's spot, which I never fucking said.
Right.
So then what it does to people who think that of me, they you just want Hassan's spot. I don't want Hassan's spot. If I wanted it, I'd go get it.
Right.
And I could if I wanted it. If I wanted to be Hassan, if I wanted to take his place, I could fucking do it.
I believe her.
I am saying I don't want it. That's why I'm not trying to do it. Nothing about the way my career is built, which is purposeful, has ever been or indicated that I wanted his fucking spot.
Right.
So now you're asking me a question that I want to answer, but I have to take. It's like when conservatives do this. They go, well, don't you think it's wrong that women use abortion like birth control?
Right.
So now I have to say, well, first of all, they don't use it like birth control. So now I have to clarify this. And now they're like, oh, but they do use it at birth control. I saw a TikTok. I'm like, okay, women are not using abortion like birth control. And when I say women are not using.
Correct. And I like how she's explaining this. The way that people will make a bunch of weird ass comments that throw you off. It's very much the same energy as what rights are they fighting for that they don't currently have. It's that weird energy where they're trying to force you into a weird conversation that has nothing to do with what's actually happening. Because they're taking you off course and they're doing that on purpose, right? They're not asking you that because they genuinely are curious. They're asking you because they are moving the argument from trans people are being eradicated, and this administration is working as hard as they can to either round up every person who's trans and or get them to end their own lives by making legislation that makes it hard for them to live. Well, us. By making legislation that makes it hard, right? And so that question is not really about finding out about rights. And now you have these layers that you're having to go through with somebody when that is not what you're talking about. But they're very deliberately moving the shit around. And the second you understand like the game and the game that they are playing, the easier it is for you to ignore those people and go, I'm not going to argue with somebody who's stupid. Like, this is dumb. I'm about to argue with an idiot and I don't need to be doing that. I need a t-shirt that says I support fun abortions, right? Because like that was always the thing. There were two main things that would come out of people trying to argue about abortion with you. It was one, I support it only in the cases of rape, which never made sense to me because I was like, and who legislates that? Right. So you'd have to go to court to confirm that this is rape, and who's gonna sit on the jury, who's gonna bring that to court. By the time it's all said and done, you can't have the abortion anyway. So it doesn't make any sense. Like, this is actually stupid. What are you talking about? Why would you say this to me out loud? Because it doesn't make any sense. Right? Because like, we're all in agreement now that this doesn't make any sense. And we're now arguing semantics instead of just saying like, actually, nobody has a right to force anybody else to bring a life into this world. The end. Just like you can't make me donate an organ just because I match, you can't force anybody to bring a life into this world. And there needs to not be literally any caveats to it. Because the second you start adding in caveats, then it's like, well, how about this? Well, what about this? Well, what about that? Well, how about this? And then it's just stupid. I just support doctors being doctors, and that just happens to include abortions. Right. I love Fat Sajak. She's fabulous.
Yeah, I mean, hordes of women, it is not built into the system. Generally speaking, women have one or two abortions, if any abortions, in their lifetime. So they're not using it like birth control. Birth control is something we use every day. So right. To imply they're using it like birth control is to imply they're having like 20 abortions a year. Like, nobody's having 20 abortions a year unless they are, God forbid, sex trafficked and forced into an abortion by their trafficker. Like, what are we even talking about? So now, in order to even answer this question, we have to disprove the first question because you started it off with a weird premise. You know what I mean? So just for the sake of everybody, guys, it's really, be careful how you ask the question because it puts the person in like a confusing position. Okay, I don't think this person is a bad person though, right? Now, again, what are we all doing here? Okay, Taylor has done great things for many groups of people. Yes? Okay, that doesn't change the fact that recently one of the decisions she made was to harass a Palestinian creator on the internet with nothing for us to go off of. Does she know something about Maysoon? Is Maysoon secretly an anti-vax Trumper? Is there something that we don't know? Is there another way she could have had this conversation? Does that then justify the way she treated Maysoon? All we see is a disabled Palestinian living in Palestine, advocating for disability, and all we see is Taylor Lorenz on Instagram lecturing the Palestinian. That's all we see. So from even a marketing perspective, from the visual perspective, and then after this happened, a bunch of people started coming forward on Reddit with their stories, DMs Taylor Lorenz.
Girl, what? Oh, you know that Instagram reel where there's like a black man talking about dread maintenance, and then it cuts to a white lady with Grinch fingers going, that is absolutely not how you do this. That's the energy. And people are like, girl, who are you? What do you mean? He was like talking about like keeping up with your locks and all of the maintenance for it. And then she showed up with her Grinch fingers being like, that is absolutely not how you do this. And we're like, excuse me? This is what we mean by like, you have to kill the colonizer in your head. Because Taylor girl, why are you arguing with a person of color? Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you arguing with a disabled person of color? Why are you arguing with a disabled person of color who is Palestinian? Are you okay? I know the answer is no. I just can't. Oh my God. Girl, you know, I just... Why?
Has sent, the way she goes after people. My Discord even had a story, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Like, I'm sitting here like, oh, like, what is happening? And so again, I'm not saying Taylor is a horrible, evil person, and I don't really want to do the work to figure it out because I don't think it matters. I already decided she's not worth the investment. She's not worth the research. Whatever she's doing, she can stay in her own bubble. She's the one who's going to White House dinners and getting interviewed and getting rich off of her audience, or building an audience in which she is getting stability. It's fine. She's a much bigger creator, to the point that when I make videos about her, apparently her haters come out of the dungeon to come make fun of her on my video. Not okay. But I'm saying, like, these people aren't your friends.
Right.
I am not your friend. You can unsubscribe from me, decide I'm a bad person right now. I am a bad person to some people. I'm a bad person to conservatives. I'm a bad person to religious people generally. I am considered a bad person. My parents think I'm doing very bad things on the internet. They're very sad.
Right. Like, and I say this because, like, I had at one point 15.7K subscriber. Oh, I am going this way. On my YouTube. Right. And I had the nerve to go after everybody's alabaster queen, Bailey Sarian. Right. And because I was just like, oh, girly pop. Because she came out with that nothing ass video being like, what are we going to do? 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 And I promise you that is mostly it for 30 minutes. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And the white girlies who feel like that was a sufficient call out were mad as fuck. And the thing is, I was like, good, unsubscribe. Honestly, because first of all, I'm not your friend. And second of all, this is not a safe space for white woman tears. It's just not. And it just like, it will never be that. It will never be that. And you're just going to have to be comfortable with the fact that this is not a space for you. You can go. But I'm literally not gonna, yeah, there were, but Audra, what are we going to do? There were a few comments of people, like a lot of people, like we actually ended up having to like block some folks, hide user, because I think M has access to do that. We did end up having to do a little like, yeah, you are now blocked, because like, I'm just not going to deal with that. Obviously, the other part of it for me is, that I don't post on my YouTube a lot. So YouTube does a super fun thing where if you don't post enough, they stop suggesting your shit, and that's fine too, because I don't put enough energy into it, because I kind of don't want to, because it's like more work than it's worth to me, right? To me. I understand it's monetized, who cares? It just is what it is. But like, I just don't understand, man. This is rough. But like, you can be mad and just go. And like, also you don't, like, this is a very like white people thing to do. I need y'all to stop telling people that you're unsubscribing. No one cares. No one.
That I'm corrupting America's youth. You know, if you think I'm a bad person, you shouldn't watch me, or you should unsubscribe or stop paying me. But the truth is like, I know I'm not a bad person. I think you know that. That doesn't mean I won't make mistakes. That's why I need my audience to give me the information I'm missing. My audience gave me information on Palestine. They give me information on masking. They give me information on verbiage. Oh, Brittany, we don't say that anymore. Thank you. Right? Like, without a community to help each other update, we would never be better. So when you say, okay, where is it here? You say, okay, you say, And she's just being morally consistent with her beliefs around masking the way I don't see from you. Okay, so now you put a moral consistency on me that isn't mine. I am not sure if it's immoral not to mask.
Right.
It's not one of my morals. So of course you don't see the moral consistency for me. It's not one of my morals. I don't know yet. I'm still on the fence. Because I'm autistic and I'm very literal. When I hear masking, I'm thinking, do you guys mean all the time? Because obviously there are places I would be happy to mask. Automatically I would think, oh, that's a good idea. But when I hear you should mask, I'm like, does that mean all the time? Because that's what the insinuation from Taylor is to Maysoon. Because she doesn't know that Maysoon didn't do the work to not need to mask that day.
Right.
Right? So I'm assuming that Taylor is making the prescription that we should mask always, everywhere. Which is an interesting prescription to make for 8 billion people. What is the grounds for that? And I know she has good data. I know a lot of my chat had good data.
I don't. So here's the thing. I'm not in contact with people most of my day. Okay. Even at work, I'm in the office, but I don't really talk to anybody. I put on a mask if somebody is sick. But I'm in my case. I come out, grab some stuff. I'm in my case. Then I'm out there. I barely, like, hopefully have to talk to anybody because that is my goal. That sounds so fucking terrible, but like, it is my goal. It's my goal to like not have too many conversations with people, because I just want to be done. It's hot as fuck. I don't want to talk to you back and forth, except for this black lady who was fine as hell telling me I look cute and she wanted to know where I got my braids done. We had a little conversation, but she's a black lady. And so of course I'm going to make time to have a conversation with her. And also she was fine. She was thickums and she had one of those short platinum blonde hairdos. Like, I'm gay. What do you want me to do? Anyways, of all the true crime channels, Bailey's is one that irks me quite a lot. Yeah, Munchkinita, yeah. And so like I already had a problem with her in that regard as well, because she does not do it in a respectful way. And I feel like a lot of it's just like Wikipedia posting, and that's fine. Like, people can make content however the fuck they want to make it, because I'm not the boss of how anybody makes their content. I'm, just another person. And I think that that's, I'm not going to police how people fucking decide to make their content, because at some point it just starts to get to this, like, what are we calling sources, and like who decides what sources are better than others? Like, I don't want to play that game with people, because I do think that gets really weird really, really fast. And I don't want to do that. So, I just think people don't really think about or respect. Come on, horse for me, please. Oh my God, it's my fault. It's my fault because I keep fucking up the camera. But I don't think people respect the way that masking is important, obviously, but a lot has changed. And I'm not saying like, oh, don't mask, but I'm also saying a lot has changed. You don't know what everybody's jobs are. You don't know what everybody's careers are. Like I said, I very rarely come into contact with people. I'm just sweating my balls off in a mattress. Okay. When I do come into contact with people, if I'm sick, I put on a mask, or I have something to cover my mouth and nose, so that I'm not like negatively impacting anybody. Most importantly, I am in Texas. This is a dangerous place to be like, oh, I'll be wearing my mask all the time. Okay. People can get weird. It can get confrontational, and it can get violent. I would prefer not to experience violence because I opted to wear a mask. I'm already black. I don't need any more. So like, no. Apparently Taylor has people get COVID testing if she's going to be on their podcast or something. She doesn't know what other people have done or need. I understand getting irked at others for stuff like that, but I just don't understand what's going on in her head in this instance. Maybe she was going through mental health stuff. I don't know. I think it's fascinating that you don't have to go to their podcast. You can just not be in the studio. I'm sorry I'm making this face, but I'm just like, hello? Like, you don't have to do all that. You can just like literally not be in the fucking studio. Like, what do you mean? Why are we having this argument? Like, you can still do it a different way. Like, what the fuck is happening? It doesn't have to be like this. It's very annoying that you're like ruining it. I wore a mask a few months ago because I was sick and literally got yelled at by a random man on the street. Right. Anybody who's in Texas knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. This can be very violent for us here because it's like we are in the South. And these people, like, you, if you've never lived in the South, especially like conservative South, like you just don't, you do not understand how these people are always itching to cause a fight and cause a disturbance, because like it's the only dopamine that they get is like fighting with random strangers or owning the libs. Okay, I'm just not interested in that. I like if I go to the store, if I'm like actually like leave my house and physically go somewhere, like I'm not arguing with some crusty old white man with a beer belly and let's go Brandon fucking shirt on. I'm just not. We have open carry here, bitch. Like there's zero laws around it. Okay. There's zero laws. I'm not getting shot because some dude wants to be mad that I'm wearing a mask. So, fuck off. And a shitty mullet. Right. And that part too. I don't mask when I visit family in rural Virginia. It might be fine, but it also might be very, very, very not fine. Exactly. It's a different calculus. Yeah. Right. And I don't mean the COVID, like that the COVID testing is bad. I have my wrong chat up. I don't mind the COVID testing, to be quite honest. I think in-person quality is just different. You're correct, but I think, how do I put this? I think if I'm worried about, like I have a chronic illness and I'm immunodeficient, I think that there is a part of me that realizes and recognizes that there might be a part of it where I can ask people to do something, but I also still have to do everything I can to take care of my health and not depend on them to do the thing. Like at the end of the day, they do not have to give a fuck about me. And that's unfortunate but that's how people operate, right? That people will operate. We're like, yeah, I did this thing. And if they didn't, even if you asked them to, but you still didn't take precautions to make sure that you were safe because you're the one who is immunocompromised, then you are putting yourself in precarious positions by expecting people to do what you ask. And I know that says a lot, but like there are times when my immune system is hot garbage. I have to realize that it is up to me because I can ask everybody around me to do the thing. And if they don't do the thing, I still have to make sure that I'm safe. So for me in this environment, and very specifically for like doing online collaborations and whatnot, I would just think, you know what, I would rather not deal with that back and forth. I know like being in person hits different, but also I don't want the stress of hoping that everybody got their tests and having to like can I see your test? Is everything good? Like da 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 da. Especially if they're just like a collaborator and not a close friend. That's just like how I feel. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Kat. You're like, that's the difference between Texas and Glasgow. I'll happily fight with right-wing fuckers on the street, but I'm not scared about getting shot. Yeah, we are, for sure.
But we need to have this conversation. Like, okay, you want us to mask all the time. I'm open to the conversation. Let's have it. But you can't put something on me that's not mine. I never said this was a value of mine, right? So you said she's just being morally consistent with her belief for unmasking, which I don't see from you. And yet you jump on the bandwagon of masking just because you saw people online tell you to do it. I didn't jump on the bandwagon of masking. I came to the realization that masking has a lot of health benefits. It is good for my community. And when necessary, I'm happy to mask. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. I didn't jump on the bandwagon. If anything, if I was jumping on the bandwagon, I would never have admitted that I don't mask when I don't want to. Do you know what I'm saying? Or
correct.
That I don't mask all the time, rather. Like if I was jumping on the bandwagon, wouldn't I lie to you and say that I mask all the time? Yeah?
Correct.
Like it would make sense for me to, wouldn't I be Taylor Lorenz if that was the bandwagon? I'm confused by the accusation. So you're making an accusation that I'm not sure about, right? Right. You said, just because you saw people online tell you should, and then look towards your audience to tell you what to do, no sign that you're doing your own research and making up your mind on this most ethical, if it's an ethical thing to do. This gives me a reaction that I can trust you less, as it makes me worry how easily you're pushed into a perspective on the internet. Yeah,
which is wild.
You're
oh my God, horse,
me.
Please, horse.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know why you're doing that. Like,
horse.
You shouldn't trust me. You should trust your judgment of me. I don't trust Taylor. I trust my judgment of Taylor. I think my judgment of Taylor is good. Right? So when you ask these questions, you have to ask yourself, are you even trusting yourself? So here you are accusing me of not trusting my own judgment, but here you are not trusting yours. You should trust your judgment of me, and I will trust my judgment of Taylor.
Right.
And I will trust my judgment and discern who in my audience is a good source for resources. But that's the whole point of starting my Discord. The whole point of treating my community like a third space to the best of our ability was to give a space to people who were good faith, curious, who could share resources. It's not like I don't go to the Discord and we don't have conversations. It's not like I don't go to my chat and then research right after. Like, you're making a lot of assumptions, which I think is like technically bound to happen. But I think
right, because like in my Discord, we were talking about how much we fucking hated all of the sequels for the 28 Days Later movies. Okay, we were like, I hate all this shit. What the fuck do you mean? Like, this is awful. And we were all upset about it. We were like, ugh. And we had all these conversations about it. Some of them were heated. Okay. In the end, we were all just like, yeah, anyways, fuck the rest of the movies all day, all night. Like, we're over it, right? At the end of the day, we came to the same conclusion, but like, especially because like a lot of us are really passionate about media. Like a lot of us in there are media autistics. Okay, we're super passionate about it, so it can very easily like get with us like yelling and if you just happen to get into the voice chat, you would think that we were arguing and that we were mad at each other. We're literally just like in there being like, no, because like da 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 da. Sometimes we get excited and we're like, the cinematography is amazing because like they did this and this and the lighting, and then because we're all like media autistics, people are like, oh, I don't want to like overstep and like get too nerdy, and I'm like, get nerdy, I love it, just fucking go for it, right? But like, it's weird the way people, especially when people are part of a community but not in the community. Does that make sense? Like, you're part of it, you're just like not necessarily in it. And you're doing a thing where your expectations are that like, because you're part of this community, then everybody needs to believe the same. Like, that is groupthink. That is the groupthink, that everybody has to believe the exact same things and feel the exact same way about people. Like this commenter, it's just like, girl, if you like Taylor, that's fine. Nobody told you can't. And again, this is what we mean when we're saying like, y'all will take, when people don't like you'll take it personally, genuinely acting as if like anybody here like did that to you. Oh, I wonder what this is. You know, and it's a wild thing to deal with, where you're like, okay, so what the fuck? I'm autistic too, and I swear people always misunderstand me. Listen, yeah, disagreement does not have to equal moral judgment. It's hard. Like, here's the thing, Info, I'm gonna tell you. I think that it's deliberate. I think that people deliberately misunderstand what you're saying, and that's just my opinion, man. I'm not calling you a man. I'm just like quoting that one thing. I think it's like the Big Lebowski. Like, that's just my opinion, man. I just think that people do it on purpose. Because a lot of autistic people, not all, but a lot of us are very like straightforward with how we speak, right? And a lot of neurotypical people like do like circle speak, where they don't necessarily say what they want or what they need. Not all, obviously. And so when you speak directly to them, they misinterpret it because they are used to people speaking in circles, riddles, if you will. Riddle me this, Batman. Like, that's them.
What's interesting is, now that I've taken my time to answer these questions, now that I've had this conversation with you, the question is, what do you do with that? You know, this desire to hate Taylor blindly is not okay. And I, again, deleted people, blocked people who were just mad at Taylor. I deleted and blocked H3 fans. If you just hate Taylor to hate Taylor, you're not a good person. Right. But if you dislike Taylor because you have a values difference and ethical reason to not dislike her, you gave her multiple chances and it wasn't good enough, that's okay. Right. You're not a bad person for disliking Taylor. You might be a bad person for hating her, because I do think hating people makes you a bad person. But maybe it means good people do bad things, like hating people. Like, what's the good your hate in your heart? What's the good of that? Right?
Well, I will tell you, the good of the hate in my heart. It makes sure that not only do I not fuck with you and your fuckassery, not you, Brittany, but just in general, but it also helps me to see the pattern of people who behave like you. And I just like never, ever talk to people like that. Like, I'll talk to you and realize like, oh, like the well, actually guys, We can't be friends. I can't. Well, actually, but I'm like, ooh, we can't be friends because the thing is, you're gonna do this to me all the time. You're a debate bro, and I'm not gonna. I can't deal with that. It's gonna piss me off. I'm gonna want to set you and your entire family on fire. Okay, and I don't want to feel like that. So that's what the hate in my heart does for me. Chat, what does the hate in your heart do for you? Because it like protects me. It protects, like, not from all feelings, obviously, but it protects me from that specific type of person. So I spot all the signs of them, and I keep my tally because I'm a tally ass bitch. Like, I'm not like keeping track of like who does what in that kind of way, but I keep a tally here so that I can keep a reminder of like every time you do some of the things that check off the list that where I'm like, When you hit a certain threshold, I'm like, yeah, I was correct. I was correct when I had that weird feeling like 8 months ago, and I should have gone with it, but I was trying to like make sure that I gathered up all of my receipts to make sure that I wasn't just being, reactive. I didn't want to just be reactive to this situation because, as an autistic person, a lot of us, know how that can happen, right? So you tally things and then you're like, no, I was right. And I'm not being reactive and I can stop gaslighting myself. It's fine to not talk to them anymore.
Chad said most of us mask because expert told us to. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, most of people are masking because doctors are telling us to, which is good. We should be relying on educated people to tell us if we should be masking or not, right? So when we have these conversations, again, I as a public figure have to steer my audience in a better direction. And my audience, the kind of audience I'm trying to curate, is one that doesn't agree with Brittany, but one that agrees with these ethics. Okay, these morals, and we're open to slight disagreement on some of these things. But generally, I don't really want an audience that's diverse in thoughts. I don't want that conservative like dog whistle of like, I just want an audience that's diverse in thought. You know what I mean? I want an audience that agrees that we're going to do our absolute best to be good people because we see how hard it is to be good people. So what do? Like, problem solve. What do we do? See how I reached out to my audience yesterday and he said, okay, what are we going to do? Instead of, you must do what Brittany says. Like, what is this, a dictatorship? What am I, Trump? Come on now. So I hope I answered this question, and I hope I made it clear that I struggle as a YouTuber. I really do, girls. I really struggle because, YouTube isn't about your supporters anymore. It's not really about who watches you. It's about your haters. Right. And I'm not really trying to build an army of haters to make me famous or rich. That's what Hassan did. That's what Asmon does. That's what all these boys do. Their haters do make them rich. They do make them popular. And she is not wrong in that. Like, that's why, like, I'm very careful about that. That's why I regularly say I don't fuck with debate bros. If you come in and you're trying to debate, like, I will kick you out or put you on a timeout or block you if you can't get it together. Because I don't want a space for that. Because, like, I think, like, a lot of Hassan's lashing out is not just simply misogyny. I think that he has all these people in there, and, like, you're doing this every single fucking day, and you have people who are deliberately trying to push your buttons every time they show up in your chat. And I think that gets to be too much. I don't think anybody should have to deal with that. Like, I do think that a lot of his, like, it doesn't excuse it. It's a reason though, right? A lot of his explosions are quite literally because, like, he gets frustrated with people in the chat pissing him off. And I think if you have sense, like, one of the things I do love about, like, Struggle for Marcus is he makes an effort to understand people. And then once he realizes, like, oh, you're just typing. That's my favorite thing that he said. He'll be like, oh, you're just typing. How are you supposed to listen and hear my response when you're just typing? Okay, well, I'm gonna have to ban you now. Right? Like, that's his deal. Like, he tries to come from a place of understanding, and he does it in a way that doesn't mean like, I have to hear you out on all of your bullshit. He does it in a way that's like, I'm trying to explain and you are still typing. You're still typing out your response, which to me says you are not interested in learning. You're not interested in my response. So there's literally no reason for me to keep talking to you. Like, he understands that. He's like, yep, I now understand. There's no reason for us to keep talking. Yeah, all the anger cannot be good because he just doesn't. Yeah, listen, Marcus is fantastic. And I learned a lot, like, from, like, watching how patient that he is. It helps me to, like, remind myself, like, to be more patient.
because I think sometimes it is very easy to just be very like reactionary and be like, ah. But I think that when you have those reactions, like, again, sure, you might be able to build a platform really quickly by arguing with people, but you're going to have to remember that that platform is going to be filled with people who want to argue with you. And that will be taxing. At some point, you'll get fucking tired of having to argue with people, unless, like, you know, that is your kink. That's what you're into. That's what feeds your soul. That's what gives you dopamine hits. But that it doesn't do that for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get a dopamine hit arguing with somebody. It is not like I'm like, nope, nope, nope.
I don't really want that. Taylor Lorenz too, she benefits from people hating her, except your mental health is so impacted, and I'm not about to handle it. I will block everybody. Like, I'm not about to handle it. So, like, I don't want to build an audience that hates me, but I am happy to have a good faith conversation with people. I'm happy to disagree with people. But to be clear, the world is a terrible fucking place.
Right.
Because we are animals on a planet, because there is no objective morality. If there was objective morality, then we would all know it and we would do it. If we
Correct.
were logical creatures, I could give you the studies and we would make good decisions. But we're not. We're emotional creatures. We're having emotional relationships with life. And so even if you hand me the data that says, Brittany, masking is 100% worth it, I might not be able to do it.
Right.
And that's why I think it's hard to be a good person, because I'm fighting.
Right. Like, also, like, think about how hot it's getting and has been getting. Again, this isn't me being like, oh, nobody should mask. I just don't think that people understand, like, there's so many people who have so many issues with just breathing through their nose. Like, if you have sinus issues, it can get more and more difficult, because if you hadn't noticed, like, it's getting more and more humid in areas that aren't normally humid like this. So you're putting on this mask, it's more humid than you're expecting. You're breathing the hot air in and out of the mask. And you're like, also, I can't really breathe through my nose well. Like, this time of year, I have such a hard time breathing through my nose. I can breathe through my nose pretty easily during, like, winter, which is odd. But, like, as the hotter it gets, the harder it is for me to breathe through my nose. It is getting so hot that, like, it starts to quite literally constrict my chest and make it a little bit difficult for me to breathe. Like, that is how hot it started getting. Like, I don't know if it was Friday or I think it was Thursday. It was really hot. I was having some difficulties where I was like, my chest started to, like, constrict a bit. Because humidity is no joke, and it's not about drinking enough water. You can't drink too much water or you'll get waterlogged. That's the thing about humidity, because you're not sweating because there's too much fucking moisture in the air. Like, that's why, that's another reason why I get the Moisture Wick shirts, because, like, at least the shirt will, like, suck up some of it and it'll keep my skin cool. So I have that going for me instead of it just drying up. So it's just, like, a lot, you know? The humidity when Scotland was having its heat wave was diabolical. Honestly, it was awful. I am often a mouth breather when I wear my mask. Right. It sucks because multiple autoimmune illnesses and wear glasses. So the rare times I do get to go out, my glasses fog up from masking, but still need to mask when inside or close to people outside. Exactly. And it's like, we're trying, right? People are doing the best that they can do. Those who care are doing the best that they can do. And you're not wrong for asking somebody like, hey, why aren't you masking up? Right? Like, if you see photos of me, you know, at work or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody was like, where's your mask? And I would literally just be like, I'm not around people for most of this day. So I'm not going to wear a mask in my mattress. Like, I'm by myself. I also regularly, like, have Lysol wipes that I wipe all that shit down, because men are my subs and men are disgusting. No hate, but I'll hate.
Against this biological predisposition, I'm fighting against my brain. I'm fighting against, like, it doesn't feel right. I don't know about that. Should I do that? Like, I have to really think it through. I have to meditate. But like I said, okay, I told my partner, I was like, make sure we have some masks in the house. Make sure if we go out, what should we do? You know, what should we wear? How should we do it? Right? You know what I mean? Because it is something we talk about as a couple. We're both disabled. We don't want to get COVID. I'm already disabled because of it. My partner's never had it, doesn't ever want to get it. Maybe they're asymptomatic. I don't know. But, like, the point is, like, we don't want to get it. Okay? So, like I say, we're not trying to be bad people. We're trying to do our best to be good people. And we're trying to, like, really have the conversation in private and in public. And I hope you guys do too. I hope this stream makes you go home and think, okay, what can I do? Like, is this good for me? Do I need to do this? And then decide if you're going to do it as a couple, as a family, as a unit. You know what I mean? So does anybody have any questions about that? You know what I mean? I think sometimes we want there to be like an objective good or bad so we know what to do. And I think that's what this person is asking. Like, how do you come to your consensus? I weigh the pros and cons. I use good data, and I try to make a good decision in the moment. You know, I have my set of values. They're subjective, but I use data to make good decisions to the best of my ability. And I recognize that data also is my inability to do things just because I want to. Like, just because I want to do something doesn't mean my body will do it. You know, just because I want to work out today doesn't mean my body's going to do it. Just because I want to meditate doesn't mean it's going to happen. Just because I want it doesn't mean it comes true. And so I try to bridge the gap between my wants and my needs, my ability to do things, my desire to be a good person. And I rely on an audience that tries to hold me accountable with my values, not yours. You can go fuck yourself. You can't hold me accountable to your values. You're not a fucking Catholic. That's what Catholics try to do. I want you to really understand this. Taylor Lorenz pulled a Catholic on Maysoon. She pushed her, she pulled a Christian and tried to make Maysoon adapt to her values. And I'm saying, that's not how that works. Your values are for you. Your morals are for you. The only thing we can do is advocate for our values to be the universal or maybe not universal, but generalized good for the world. Like consent laws and informed consent would be really good for society, right?
Right.
But I don't want to pull a Christian in order to make it happen. I don't want to make a prescription and say, you must do this thing, as if I have an objective understanding of what this good and bad is. I think informed consent is better because of these reasons. You can agree or not agree, but it's obvious that not an informed consent is not helping anybody. So subjectively, we should do it just because it's subjectively really good. And it helps a lot of people, right? Chad says, I don't believe in a good or bad people, but I do believe in a pursuit of reducing harm. I hope that's okay. Is it still okay for me to be a community member? Why did you ask me that question? I get this question sometimes from people. I don't understand the question you're asking, and I get it a lot. Can you expand on this? Why would you ask me if it's still okay for me to be a community member? You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you, because you know you're not Taylor Lorenz, right? Do you know that?
And this ends up hitting my, I'm white, but am I allowed to be here? And it's like, I mean, if you're learning and you're not taking up space in a way in which you're trying to force like all the Black, brown, and queer people to do emotional labor for you, you're like, I feel like a lot of times the only reason you're really asking that, and that's not everybody, because some people genuinely are like, am I taking up too much space? But the only reason you're really asking that is because you know deep down that you are, right? Like a lot of people know that you're taking up the space, and you know that because you're like, oh shit, I'm the one doing all the talking. So I think people are so weird.
That you're not a public figure and I don't know who you are. So it doesn't matter what you believe. You could be a MAGA, anti-abortion, racist, and you could be in this community because the YouTube community does not exist.
Right.
You know that, right? Like, if you never tell me what you believe, I wouldn't know.
Right.
So you tell me what you believe, right? And then you say, can I still be a part of your community? I can't stop you. What are you asking me? I could block you. But like, what are you really, you know what I'm saying? Why are people keep asking permission to be here? I want to know what that is. Like, I think what you mean to say is I want to be a person you recognize, or I want to be in the community, and we might disagree on this. Can I be here? Yeah. But also, like, I wouldn't know unless you told me. Does that make sense? So are you asking me to acknowledge you? Because you're not the first person who's asked me this. A lot of people ask me like, hey, can I be here if I think this? I don't know what you're asking.
Right.
Why are you telling me? If you think, like, if you came to the Discord and you were putting MAGA stuff, I would block you. If you came to my chat and you were putting MAGA stuff, I would block you. But I wouldn't know if you were MAGA unless you told me.
Right.
So
Which they do.
You're telling me for a reason. Why are you telling me? If you want to be a part of the community and learn, why would you tell people something that might alienate you while you're learning?
Right.
Now, if you're telling me, it almost feels like you're advocating. So then if you're advocating, you're asking me, like, do you want to ban me? Do you know what I mean?
It feels very much like you're trying to do
That's
that.
the question.
I got kicked out because I'm MAGA. Like Esther in the Sephora situation.
Yeah.
Some of y'all just had to be there for that.
Like how the concept works. I don't understand it. Chet says, I just feel like I don't want to interlude on a community. Not all communities are made for me. Yeah. Oh, intrude, not interlude, Brittany. Intrude. Yeah, I think that's a really nice sentiment. But you only intrude if you make yourself known. Do you know what I'm saying? So you've made yourself known.
Ooh.
And now we are wondering, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't like
Hi, Junie the Taurus. How are you? They're overcomplicating their contributions and presence in the spaces where they are not the centerpiece. Correct. They do want that pat on the back, like Oreo is saying. Like, yes, that's the problem. That's why, like, nobody likes this thing.
Yeah, it's like
the reason that I'm white but conversation starts to piss people off is because, like, why did you tell us that? No, like, nobody, like, you could have just kikied. You know what I mean? He is doing flagellation. Yeah. I think it's flagellation. He's beating himself. Pause. Hi, Zaj. But, like, he's a priest. Y'all stop thirsting over this priest, because I know he got abs or whatever, but he's got problems.
I trust you to know if this is a space for you. And as long as you don't disrupt chat, you can watch. I don't need to give you permission to watch a public stream.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? It's a public stream. Anybody could watch it. Nobody needs permission to watch the public stream. If you're asking, you know what I'm saying? So, like, you're already, does that kind of make sense? Because otherwise, yeah, of course you can watch the stream. I'm not going to stop you. Now, when you say be a part of the community, I don't even know what that means in this context, I guess. But I can see why you think it matters because you're trying to be good. Yeah, like chat says, stay in good faith, you're one of us. Yeah, as long as you're here in good faith and you're nice and kind and not bigoted, like you can stay here. I won't block you. You know what I'm saying? Let me read your original message. Hold on, girly, hold on. You said, okay, well, hold on. I gotta, yeah, I always wonder if people are asking me that. Maybe it's neurodivergence too. Hold on. You said, I don't believe in good or bad people, but I do believe in pursuit of reducing harm. Yeah.
Oh, this nigga about to fight me.
Good and bad people. I mean, I don't believe in good and bad people. I just use it as a shorthand. I mean, I don't even think there's any such a good, like, I don't even know if bad people exist. I just know what we call bad exists. Do you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be able to, it'd be much harder to communicate with people if I didn't say baby rapists were bad. You know? It'd be much harder to communicate with people.
I didn't have to kill nobody.
So I have to say all dogs are good dogs, even bad dogs. All humans are nature experiencing itself. But when an adult rapes a child, it's a bad thing. And the adult did a bad thing, and it is okay to say they are a bad person.
Right.
It makes sense. It follows. Right? If a bear eats your family, the bear did a bad thing, because now your family's eaten. But the bear is doing what's within its nature, just like the human does with what's within their nature. When a human rapes another human, they're just doing something that's natural.
I didn't mean to laugh. I just thought about a bear eating a family, and I got a little giggle. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm hesitant with new streamers because some are just assholes. You're not wrong, Zaj. Like, listen, I am big on community, and I don't just say that because it sounds good. I say it because, like, I'm fucking serious about having community. Like, I want to make space, and again, when my route is cut, I will actually be able to do some more of the, like, hey, these are things that can help you with streaming. If you're a streamer, if you're a content creator, if you may, you know, I'm not good with TikTok because I don't give a shit about TikTok. No hate. But, like, being able to help people to do things. If people are striving for something in my community, I want to help them do it. I'm about to do I try to do it monthly, but most of the time I forget because I'm hot. Y'all can just remind me. But I'm about to do the thing where I start asking everybody in the Discord, like, hey, if you're a streamer and you want to be on the notifications, just let me know and I'll add you in, right? Because I don't think you survive by yourself. And I've said this before, but like, if you ever go into like our Twitch, the amount of times you will see somebody being like, I can't grow. First of all, I'm just going to say this, like almost all of those people are men, because men don't know how to build community. And that's not me being hateful. That's just me making an observation. Men in general do not know how to build community. And they depend on, women to do that for them. So what happens in the world of streaming is a lot of these men get all the equipment and then they start streaming and they're like, I'm playing the popular game and I have really good equipment and like all of this stuff. I'm confused why nobody's here at my stream. And then you start asking them, like, are you networking? Are you part of anybody else's community? Do you have a Discord? Like, what are you doing for the people who watch you? Because if you have nothing to offer other than watch me and make me money, like that fits for some people because that is a kink. You know what I mean? Pay pigs like being pay pigs, and that's fine. And I'm not talking about like normal, I'm talking about like, in the kink community. Okay. Femdoms exist for a reason, right? And that's fine. And the way that they come and get your money, that's fine. Like some people enjoy that, being harangued and harassed into paying money. They love it. It makes them happy. You know what I mean? And that's their greatest joy, is you just being like, give me money, or I'm going to stop talking to you. And they're like, oh, I'll give you money. So with that being said, what inevitably, ends up happening for some people is like, they're interested in, and even Brett said this, they're interested in streaming and making their $20,000 a day, but they don't really care about doing anything to help community. And I don't know if that's true for everyone, but there are certainly people who that holds true to. They don't care about the actual movement. They're just here to make their money and debate. And that's fine though too. That's fine too. And I mean that because like, if that's what they want, then that's fine. But like, as a viewer, it is your responsibility to like look and realize like that's what they're about, and and decide if it's okay with you that that's what they're about. Because again, I'm the kind of person who's like in these spaces. I think that we all just need to understand that people have different roles, and that's okay. We don't all have to have the same role, right? And you can utilize all of this for stepping stones to help you. But they don't understand it, and they don't realize that in order for them to have built a community, what they had needed to do was be in community with other people, right? Not just follow for follow, but actually be in community, be in other people's streams, genuinely in their stream, chatting back and forth, rating out when you're done. Like being people's discords, getting to know people, learning how the tech works, like being able to help somebody else. And if you don't want to do any of that, I don't think that this is for you. And I don't mean it to be like shitty or rude. I don't think it's for you, because Twitch is not a place that you make it on the back and strength of your own content. For the most part, the people who do are outside of the norm. They are the exception to the norm. Like the rest of us, we are the norm. So, Ooh, Zed, that sucks. I hate that. I've had the same thing, and it was rough.
But natural also has consequences. When a tsunami hits your town, the tsunami is just doing what tsunamis do, but it's bad. It's a bad thing happened. Thousands of people just died. You know what I'm saying? It's still a bad thing that the tsunami happened. So we want to prepare for the bad thing to happen. Like the rapist, like the bear, like the tsunami. But of course, they're just doing what's within their nature. We think humans have more say in their choices, but obviously if that was the case, we wouldn't have, hopefully, child rape. But the insinuation is that, like, child rape is a choice they're making. But, like, is it the choice they're making or the choice that they did? Like, what is the choice even? Because if there was a choice, then why are the most prominent leftists making choices every day to be misogynistic?
Right.
I would have to, I'm giving them almost like a, not a way out, but I'm explaining that, like, man, even the people with even me, is this something I'm going to regret one day? In 2 years, am I going to be wearing a mask everywhere? Is something I ask myself every day. Am I going to sit in a room 2 years from now and go, I can't believe I wasn't masking. I can't believe I wasn't masking every day, all day.
Right.
This is what I ask myself when I sit in a room and I meditate. And I think, I wonder what in 2 years I'm gonna look back and go, I can't believe it took you 2 years to figure that out. I can't believe you waited 4 years
I have
to
to
figure
take
that
pictures
out.
so I remember this.
And this is the thing. I don't know yet. I can't tell you. But I'm working on it. Same thing with being plant-based. You know? Oh, like I'm plant-based. You know, I'm a year and a half in. This has been a really good decision so far. I'm really just living my best life right now. And I wonder if in 4 years I'm gonna be like, I can't believe I was plant-based. How stupid was that? Or I'm gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe I didn't go vegan sooner.
With her everywhere we
Thank
go.
you.
The water has to
Thank
go
you,
with
Zaj.
us. We have to maintain it.
I don't know. I'm either gonna think it was stupid or I'm gonna think it's the greatest thing I ever did. I guess we'll see and wait what Brittany thinks. You know?
Right. Like the hindsight is 2020 is
Just
literally
sorry to bring
because
this up, but I'm black and
let's be so for real. Like we generally only see things. Listen, I gotta read this sermon. We generally only see things completely clearly after the whole thing has happened, right? Like you can't see it while you're in it because you're literally experiencing, and that's not how time works. That's not how it works. So after it's over, then you're able to go, oh, now I get it. I understand what happened, and like if I had the choice to do this differently, I would have done this or that. Like you would have sat there and figured it out, okay? But you're not dumb. I'm dumb. So like in the end, you have to be able to like look at it and the thing is, and I will say this is, again, I like puzzles and whatnot. There are so many situations, not just like creator situations, but friend situations where somebody will tell me something will happen, and I will look at it and ruminate and examine the entire situation. And once I'm done, I'm like, yeah, so there's pieces of this puzzle missing, so I'm not making any judgment right now. I'm gonna try to figure out what else is happening, and it may be 6 months, it might be a year, but finally when all the pieces come together, I'm like, oh, this makes so much more sense now. I knew something was missing. Now that I have all the missing pieces, I understand the situation, and these are the decisions I'm gonna make moving forward. Like it's okay for you to realize you don't have to make a decision immediately. And I feel like everybody should know that, and I think you do. But like, also, well, everybody, you shouldn't. But like, because we all have different attachment styles and we grow up different ways. But like, it's all right for you to wait for all of the information. It's one of the reasons like I don't like to do a lot of reactionary stuff, because I find that, and I learned this from like drama channels. I find that when you're doing that, things can change and move so quickly. And again, like, this is not my real job, so I don't have time to like pop up and make another video about the situation. I'd rather just wait for all the information. And if that means that the situation ended 3 months ago and I'm talking about it now, I mean, I'm talking about it now. The fuck you want from me? I'm dating myself here, but it's taken me decades to figure things out. Right. Sometimes there's YouTubers as well who are just problematic, and people should definitely know who it is. Right. And the thing is, it depends on the drama channel. It depends on the drama channel on whether or not I'm going to keep watching it. Because there's some of them where I'm like, yeah, no. But then there's other ones where I watch it because the ones I like typically wait for the situation to end. And then, there it goes. And then they have the conversation. And I like that because I'm getting a comprehensive look at everything, right? So we're gonna finish this out, and I'm gonna argue,
sometimes
like,
people
have
come
this
into our communities
conversation with
and I don't think
this
it's their
man.
place, and sometimes they should ask to know if we need them there. Yeah, I hear that. Well, look, you're welcome here. Respectfully, you sound a little neurodivergent. Same, girly. So you don't have to ask to be here. I don't want anyone to feel they have to ask to be here, because this isn't that kind of space. This is a very inclusive space. Anyone can be here. Anyone can be here who is good faith, into philosophy, and is genuinely trying to be a better person and trying to be less bad every day.
Right.
Anyone can be here who's willing and open-minded to changing and trying to be better. You said ADHD
Yes.
and bipolar. Let's go. Welcome. Okay.
Yes, I agree with that.
Like, I can't stop you from watching a public stream. If you want to be a part of the chat community, you can chat all day, every day, as long as you're not spamming, being bigoted, or being hateful. Okay, those are the only rules. No spamming, no hateful, no bigoted. and be good faith. Otherwise, girlies, I can't control you from watching a public stream, you know? Right? But this is what I say to all of us everywhere. Who knows who will be tomorrow, but I can't wait to meet her. I don't know who I'm going to be in 5 years, but I just can't wait to meet him, you know? Right? Chat says, I can't tell what this is about. See? Isn't that interesting? It's about masking, wearing masks. Some people in the chat thought I was talking about autistic masking.
Right.
Which is so interesting because, yeah, like, see how language is so funny? I don't blame you either. Even yesterday in chat, people thought we were talking about, like, autistic masking, but we're talking about health masking. Like wearing a mask for a illness, like a face mask, you know? But yeah, who knows what we'll all be doing in 5 years from now. But that's what I love about being a person. We, you know, the language, everything we're doing, like, even in this own conversation, it wasn't clear what we were talking about. Isn't that beautiful? And if we can't even figure out in this chat exactly what we're talking about, which is so reasonable, imagine how much harder it is. It's like a game of telephone with every other person on the planet, you know? So everybody is welcome here. I want everyone here. The reason, and going back just to bring this to a close, to this chatter who said, okay, but what about Taylor Lorenz? What if Taylor Lorenz wanted to be here? Taylor Lorenz she can be in my chat. As long as she's good faith, as long as she's not spamming, as long as she's not bigoted or hateful, she can be in my chat.
Right.
I'm not going to block Taylor Lorenz from my chat. Why would I do that? What do I care if she's in my chat? You know what I mean? Now, if she breaks a big rule, if she does something rude. Now, I would say this. If Taylor Lorenz showed up in my chat, I'd say, hey, Taylor, you need to talk about what you did with Maysoon so we can get past this. Otherwise, I will block you from my chat.
Right.
Because you need to clear this up. It's a little too weird. It's too far. What was that about? What was it? And then she can say, I knew Maysoon when we were in middle school, and she pulled on my hair and spit on my shoe, and I knew from then on she was my mortal enemy. And then I can say, oh my God, I didn't know. That's a joke. I'm making a joke. Okay? Okay? Right? No, chat says, by the way, masking doesn't help the person in the mask. It does help the person in the mask if you get a certain kind of mask. But it helps others. It helps others too. It helps everybody. If you get the right kind of mask, you can help yourself and others. That's what I'm saying. We don't know what we're saying. None of us know what we're talking about. We spread misinformation all day, every day. Nobody knows what they're talking about. That's what I'm saying. We don't even know how to make good decisions because we don't know what we're...
Yeah. Because here's the thing. There are specific masks that are extremely helpful. Most people are wearing like that little shitty one that really doesn't do as much. It is better than nothing. For like when I go to the doctor, my primary care physician, they have like, they're like, please, you know, they have little masks and you can grab one and put one on while you sit in the waiting room, which I don't love because I don't like touching things like that. Because like somebody else, I just feel like they booger fingers were somewhere on it and I'm like, oh, and I can't like dig to the bottom like Black people like to do. Y'all know what I'm talking about. So I just have to like be like, ugh, and my mom has masks as well. But the way that people just don't understand that in effect, two people wearing a mask in general is going to lessen the chance for transmission of bad germs. That's all. So when you're talking to each other, because everyone spits when they talk. Everyone does, just like everyone has a lisp. I know some people are about to argue with me and go, I don't have a lisp. Yes, you do. Everyone does. Your tongue is used to speak. Some people's lisp is more pronounced than other people's, but everyone does. I hear people all the time. I hear it. I literally hear the lisp sound everyone makes. No one's tongue is fucking thicker. But like, anyways, so just like, yeah, some people were like wearing translucent mesh masks, which is really weird. I just think that not enough people want to give a shit about other people. And it becomes easier to just say masks don't do anything. It is the same argument we've been having about condoms, where it's like, you shouldn't just be using a condom. You should also be using birth control. And you should also make sure, like, right after, if you're like, you know, if you're sexually active and you do the deed, that you pee immediately after, because it helps to burn out the semen in your body. I'm so sorry, but also no, I'm not. Like, people tell you this stuff to try to help you, right? And it's okay to be wrong. It's always going to be okay to be wrong. It's what you do when you find out that you're wrong that matters. That's the thing. That is the point. It is what you do when you find out that you are wrong. You can either dig your heels in and continue being wrong, and not care about the harm that you're putting out, i.e. Joe Rogan, Asmongold, Ethan Klein. You can either like do that, or you can have somebody say, oh, actually it was Sex Pestiny, not Ethan Klein, that she had on her podcast. And you can go, oh, I messed that up. Thank you. Thank you for that correction. You see how those are the choices. Like, you don't have to be a dick. Do you know what I mean? And I think people are actively making these choices to be complete and total fucking assholes, because being an asshole is easier. And I get to a degree that being on these platforms can be mad stressful. Like, I'm not going to say it's not, because you have hundreds, if for some people, if not thousands of people watching your content and watching you make missteps and clip you and do all of this stuff. And I understand that can be stressful, but we have to be so fucking for real that, like, in those moments when you fuck up and somebody is trying to help you and somebody is trying to say, hey, you maybe should have worded it this way, you can go, you know what, you're right, I should have said it like this. Or you could be like, no, I worded it this way on purpose and very specifically because da 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 da, and like state why. I feel like we're in an age where people just can't, like, it's fandom era. Like, everything is a fandom, including the creators that you like. And it's fucking weird. Like, some of y'all just need to be, not you, y'all, obviously, but some people just need to understand that, like, we have to stop this, like, weird, I'm a fan of this person. And so if you don't like this person, then I don't feel like I don't feel like I can trust you because you don't like my team. And like, this isn't sports. These are people's real lives, and it does like impact people. That's why I also think it's really important for us to like stop saying that the internet isn't real, because it very much is. Even, 7 years ago, I'm using 7 on purpose. 7 years ago, you would not expect that finding someone being racist on TikTok would result in their jobs, in them losing their job. But just 6 years ago, that became a possibility. So your internet life is intersecting with your real life, because we saw that happen and we're still seeing it happen. When people do some wild shit, people are recording them. They're contacting their jobs. Real life relationships are being impacted. Did everybody forget the whole like Adam Levine really cringy ass sliding into Girly Pop's DMs? This is real life too. And it's like how you handle it, right? So that is what we're doing today. Okay. Hi, Dark Angel. Also, bye, Dark Angel. And just in case I didn't say hi to you earlier, that is what we're going to do today. LMAO, the way an ex argued with me that people losing their jobs for saying wildly racist shit publicly wasn't okay. Right. And it becomes like a whole ass thing, right? Where we start, your body is absurd. Oh my God. Right. And like, that's why, like, this is one of the reasons why I'm very, very, like, I try to be careful and make note, because I know that I have a, Black and brown, queer, neurodivergent, disabled community. I know that because y'all let me know. I know that because those of you in the Discord let me know, and you tell me that you are experiencing these things. And knowing that means that I have to acknowledge that, like, everybody doesn't take to the streets. That's not everybody's job, nor should it be. Like, revolution doesn't happen because everybody societies in the street. It happens because we have people in so many different sectors that we can all work together to make things happen. Yes, there are internet leftists and progressives, but there's just as many of them who are actually outside. And it's great that they're outside because they end up showing people like, this is what it's like to be outside. This is what I'm doing. And people who do want to go outside are like, cool, get me resources for getting outside. I have, you know, a regular now timer that goes off. If you want to go outside and do canvassing and all that stuff for DSA, I have that information there for you to like look that up and go do that thing, right? But I have already said I'm not an outside cat. I'm too anxious for that. The CPTSD is not going to let it go. Which I think this might be the first day that I've ever spoken about that publicly. And that is because of the strength of my friendships, who, by the way, I met these folks online, internet friends. So, yeah, the way that I think leftists need, like, especially white leftists need to address the white leftists in the space who, or I would like for them to, I don't want to order anyone around. I would like for them to address the white leftists in the space, the white progressives in the space who act wild and wild the fuck out. Because like the more that I see white progressives in these spaces doing these things, the more that like I feel that I can trust my community in your spaces, that they will not end up being othered, that they will not end up being pushed out, that their experiences won't be cast aside. And like, that's all. That's it. That's what listen, I'm going to go because I've yapped a lot. I've got to get my little cards ready and do some stuff for work tomorrow. I'm excited. Not about work, but I'm excited about Tuesday stream. I don't know what we're doing, but if y'all have a thing that you want me to look at me. If you want, like, if you have a particular video, at me in the Discord, let me know what you have going on there. And like, I'll look at it and see if we'll talk about it. A lot of my reacts, I'm doing on the fly. I had started watching this one yesterday and then I was like, I'm gonna bring this to chat. So now let me find us a little home because, everybody deserves a home. So I'm going to drop this raid message. Right. And I'm going to put up this end screen because of who I am as a person. And as I always say, thank you so much for your support. Without y'all, like, I wouldn't even really be able to do this thing. So I appreciate you for being here. And so until next time, thank you so much. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me today. And I appreciate that. Until Tuesday, bye now.